Oh, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Hey, you. Good morning. Good morning. I still have the frog in my throat. Good morning. It's time to wake up. You know what time it is. It's time for us to start talking about the things that go on in the world. All right. Fuck. Man, I have a headache. If you tuned in for extra hours, that was, man, that was a bitch. Still a little salty about how that shit went down, but whatever. We'll move on. We'll be okay. Today's a new day, right? Today's a new day to do all kinds of things with the things. You know what I'm saying? We don't have to worry about keeping up with yesterday. But that being said, there are some very interesting videos. Oh wow, I like this one better. What's up? That we need to get through. One of which I believe was made yesterday. Now, let me see if I can fucking find. I need to update this goddamn playlist. I'm thinking about making a public playlist so people could just submit their fucking whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, I want you to react to this. Which, by the way, if you guys have any videos you'd like for me to check out, drop a link and I'll have someone check it out for me. All right, let me see. I have a stupid song stuck in my head. All right, it's all the way down here. Yes. Yes. Okay. That one did happen just yesterday. Or rather, it was dropped yesterday. It got released yesterday. And that's exactly the one I was looking for. All right. So, first thing in the morning, we're going to talk about a little espionage. We're going to talk about, a little whistleblowing. All right. Okay. So this is Vice News. Or this is Vice. This isn't Vice News. This is Vice. My photo helped expose a CIA cover up.
I remember remarking to my colleagues, I said, we're just about to be captured.
Fuck that.
They put their guns to our heads, and they started yelling at us and asking who we were and what we were doing there. The Reagan administration was not only violating international law, they were also violating the law that was passed in the U.S. Congress.
That's trouble.
I think that one of the jobs of a journalist is to discover the truth. The photo that I took went all around the world. It became known as the Iran-Contra scandal. The United States was involved illegally in supplying and supporting the Contra rebels.
Yeah, so just typical American bullshit, right? Like we do this everywhere. If you guys haven't figured this out by now, it's a matter of like, oh, I want this place. Oh, you're not gonna do business with me? Oh, you're a dictator? No problem. We're just gonna give guns to the rebels. We're gonna empower them, right? And then when time comes around, we're just gonna chant behind them because they want democracy. And then now we just kind of own another country. It's pretty scary. Like the games that America plays on a fucking like international level. Like the reason why so many people are scared of like world governments is because if there's a world government, just think about how like American government works and just think about how like the money comes into play. Like it's very pay to win. And then just fucking up that a level when you get into the fucking international level.
The way I see it, my photo probably saved thousands of lives.
Probably did.
I'm a photographer, and I was in Nicaragua covering the Contra War.
This is why you need people who love what they do, bro. Because you would not be, if you don't like taking pictures, if you don't like using cameras, you are not going to be in the middle of a fucking war. Jesus. I can't imagine.
When I went to the university, the Vietnam War was raging.
I mean, I can't imagine.
I was very interested in what was happening around the world. What I decided to study was political science.
Oh, wow.
And one of my dorm mates was a guy by the name of Carlos Somoza. Carlos was the nephew of Anastasio Somoza, who was the president of Nicaragua.
That's a fucking connect. That's amazing. What? All right, look, listen, bro. Listen, bro. If you're in school, you know, I don't think that's my demographic, but if you're in school, all I can say is that like you meet some of the most interesting fucking people like in college. In college, you meet like some fucking characters, bro. And I tell you right now that like I met quite a few people and I see what they're doing with their lives, and I'm like, that's dope. Like I went to school with that guy. You know, I went to school with that girl. Like, I don't know. I think it's cool. I think it's a cool thing to see. It's a cool thing to see, like, for example, I'm watching an Asmongold video and then I see this dude tweet at this person and I'm like, oh shit, I know who that is. So it's shit like that. Like it's like, oh damn, like it's a small world, isn't it, huh?
Nicaragua, and had recently run for re-election.
That's crazy.
But the opposition claimed that there was voter fraud and
Oh, of course.
that they had won the election.
That's what happens every time. That's what happens in every single one of these elections that goes around the world that's supposed to be quote unquote like actual free democracy. Like it's just always like, yeah, but they cheated. Like what?
I was talking to Carlos and he said, my family has ruled Nicaragua for 45 years. The Nicaraguan people love my family.
Yeah, that's what your daddy told you, nigga, growing up. You Nicaraguan people love us. They love us, dude. Why do you think we're in power?
Of course, they always vote for us. There was no fraud. We always win the elections. And when I heard that, I said, wow, any family that's been ruling a country for 45 years, that's not a democracy, that's a dictatorship.
Look, listen, it doesn't matter how good of a king you are. Like 45 years? Nah. Cause okay, I'll put it to you like this. You're going to lose base, bro. You're not like the whatever connection you think that you have to the general public is not gonna be there after fucking 10 years. After 10, like the thing is that like you have I'm sorry, maybe not 10, maybe after 20 years, it's like fried. Like let's be honest, like 2 generations and you're in power and that's it. Move the fuck on. Go to something else. Like, I mean, I'm not, okay, of course not America. Fuck that shit. That shit would never fly here. 8 years, get the fuck out of here. And that's it. But this, like, you know, like, fucking 45 years? By the time, like, you're halfway through that, you've already lost base with, like, the newest generation and the generation that came before it. Like, you're just too far detached. That's why, like, you have Congress having problems trying to figure out what the fuck to do with social media companies and like literally taking a shit when it comes to fucking free speech. Like I'm so glad I'm on Kick because like it's one of the few places where I can actually speak my fucking mind and not have to worry about it. Like the fact that they're taking a shit in the bed with that as well as AI, like they don't know up from fucking down anymore. They're outdated. The technology jumped so fast in a matter of years that like they were already struggling trying to get their fucking Instagrams working. They barely know how to the only app they probably use is Facebook. And now you're telling them, you're trying to fucking explain to them like fucking low ranking algorithms and like fuck, no one like they don't give a shit about that. They don't give a shit about QSL and SEO and all that shit. Like they have no idea what the fuck's going on. They're detached. And that's a problem because you start to lose out on getting ahead on other things because you're not savvy in what's really going on at that present time. And that's going to hold back everybody, bro.
The Somoza family was a Nicaraguan family that ruled the country with the support of the United States from about 1930 until the Nicaraguan Sandinista insurrection in 1979. The word Sandinista is a shortening of the Frente Sandinista de Liberación Nacional, which is the Sandinista National Liberation Front. They were a group of revolutionaries who successfully overthrew the front. They were a group.
That's a fucking fire ass logo. Like I really don't like that's pretty dope. Like it's some old and you know, and it's probably like whoever the fuck started the movement or something. But like or maybe whoever they, you know, based it off of something, but it's just like a cool ass old man cowboy looking thing. You got spurs on and everything. It's just fire.
group of revolutionaries who successfully overthrew the Somoza dictatorship in 1979. And they were doing great things. There was a land reform, education, and the health sphere, trying to make it better.
Yeah, it always
for
starts
the population.
good. It always starts good.
Shortly after, there was.
It's just like Cuba, bro, where like you had Bautista, and then he was after, oh yeah, and then Batista sucks, which retrospectively speaking, I mean, I think I remember asking this to my grandmother, but she said that like Bautista wasn't as bad as Castro. You can have different opinions on this. What I can say is that when Castro overthrew Bautista, he did come with a lot of that promise of like good change, because like yeah, like during Bautista you had the golden era. Cuba had its like golden era where everything was like nice and this and that and that. But of course there was always going to be something that wasn't right, and when people get upset with the status quo, well then that leaves room for opposition to come in and take over. So they did that, and they promised a lot more. They promised to fix the problems that already were, probably without even knowing the fact that they were doing probably what they could to keep everything else going to some degree. And what ended up happening is that when Castro took over, everything went to shit. Same things kind of happen in all these other countries, bro. Like when people rise to take over, and then people think it's gonna be great, and then just turns out to be shit. Like it's always great at first, and it sucks later.
There was a change in the U.S. presidential office. When Ronald Reagan took office in 1981, his stated aim was to get rid of the Sandinistas.
I'm going to tell you a few things tonight about the real nature of the Sandinista regime in Nicaragua.
That's crazy.
Shortly after taking power, the Sandinistas, in partnership with Cuba and the Soviet Union...
You see what I mean, my friend? You see what I mean, my friend? These are the kinds of things that happen in the world, okay? And if you are not savvy, man, to what's going on in the world, you know nothing. You know nothing, man. You need to know how all these things intercorrelate, man.
Began supporting aggression and terrorism against El Salvador, Honduras, Costa Rica, and Guatemala. And it's become the stage for a bold attempt by the Soviet Union, Cuba, and Nicaragua to install communism by force throughout the hemisphere.
Versus installing a democracy by force using money and guns.
The Sandinistas were socialists.
I'm sorry, I didn't say that loud enough. I don't know if I said that loud. Versus enforcing democracy around the world using guns and money. It's like you're doing the same thing, right? Like especially Reagan, right? Like the guy who gave like the guns to the Middle East, right? Like this isn't the dude who started, like who gave fuck, I don't want to get my facts twisted here. Bro, the people who, the Afghanistan, the fucking Taliban, like didn't the Taliban first get their guns because Reagan fucking gave them guns? I mean, you can check me and fact check me on this, but Reagan gave guns to some fucking group of rebels so that they can fucking oust the government that was in power at that present time. Like we're both, like everyone's playing the same game, guys. Like it's not like, I get it, like they want to install dictatorships, and by the way, like don't get it twisted, me personally, democracy all the way, but the thing is that you're gonna try to force democracy into these places that don't have systems and don't have like I don't know, their government systems don't have the ethic and morals to uphold honest and fair elections. And I get it, maybe at least having an honest and fair election is a place to start. But I don't know, man. I feel like that's up to the people. I don't know, like are we some like grand crusaders who are supposed to go around the world saving everybody by delivering democracy? Like is that our purpose? Is that our goal? Or, you know, are we supposed to just take care of ourselves and be proud of what we've done with our system? Like if our system's so great, then shouldn't it be shining on its own well enough so that other countries can be motivated to move in that direction? Isn't that what was happening in Hong Kong, right? Where all those people were arguing for democracy and shit like that. They actually got shut down in a matter of weeks. But you know, it's shit like that where it's just like, I mean, how do you know what's better and what isn't better? You know, like I love democracy. I love America, but I also know that we're a wealthy enough first world country with enough individuals with aspirations and this, that, and the third, that if you hold an election, everyone's going to be staring down everybody else's fucking neck, trying to make sure that everything goes proper because everyone's fighting for their own side. I don't know if you're going to have something like that in these other countries. Like, is it the best option? Who the fuck knows? I mean, democracy rocks, though. I'll tell you that much. America's the best.
They were not communists. Reagan decided...
They're what?
Hemisphere.
The Sandinistas were socialists. They
Socialists,
were not communists.
not
Reagan
communists.
decided to just put them in the same bag
Yeah.
as the communists
And that's,
in the Soviet
that's
Union,
fucked
for
up.
example.
And that's fucked up because that really paints a picture that like, oh, these guys want you to live poor and work factories and you know, live like the Russians do. And there's not a shot at the Russians. But in the present time, that was kind of the propaganda, right? Like the Red Scare, the big Red Scare, you know, like, oh my gosh, the commies are going to take over America. And it's really just socialism. And socialist views aren't necessarily I mean, like they have a lot of commonalities when it comes to communism, but they're two different things, bro. Like you can't say that like socialism is about benefits it's about the government taking care of its people, versus communism is about putting everybody at the same level, even if they're not.
Nicaragua had been controlled economically by the United States really since at least the 1920s.
Come on. If you have a country that's controlled economically by the United States, that literally just means the country is controlled by the United States.
And the United States did not want to give up that economic control.
If the Soviet Union...
Why the fuck will we?
...the debt subversion in our hemisphere,
Why will we?
The United States has a legal right and a moral duty to help resist it.
So from that time forward,
Yeah.
the United States
has a vested interest.
started providing military aid,
guns,
financial aid,
money.
to a group
What
that
did I
wanted
say?
to overthrow
It's just
the
guns and money.
revolutionary government.
Thousands who fought with the Sandinistas have taken up arms against them and are now called the Contras.
I was not at all convinced of what he was saying about the
This got
country,
goosebumps.
but I felt as a journalist I wanted to go down and see for myself what was happening.
That's terrifying, bro.
First went to Nicaragua in 19...
That's terrifying, bro. Cause man, like, right, like you don't get to choose where the fuck you're born, bro. You don't get to, you know, all you get to do is choose how you live your life, right? You don't get to choose where you're born. You don't get to choose how you die. You just get to choose everything in between, and that's perfect, right? But the fact that you could be born somewhere and recognize that, like, bro, my entire life is just shaped and completely molded by powers that be. And like you say, powers that be. I'm not talking about God, motherfucker. Like, I'm talking about rich, wealthy motherfuckers. I'm talking about owners of corporations. I'm talking about presidents of countries and states. And like what I'm trying to say is, imagine like that, like this random little dot right here, right? Like, obviously these are people. The quality isn't that high. It's old video, it's old footage. But like this little dot right here is like someone's fucking head, right? That's someone's fucking forehead right there, that little dot. And that little dot being someone's forehead means that that's a human being, right? And that human being right there is living an entire life. Or has lived, because it's probably dead by now. This is old ass footage. But lived an entire life, or has lived in, or is living an entire life. And it's just completely navigated and guided by the decisions, like, for example, like, you know, oh, we have money interest in this country state for this XYZ reason. Well, because of that, we've been giving money to them. Well, because of that, they've been living a certain way. But now because of that, this and that happens. And now these other people are coming up to rise up against, you know, like whatever, all that bullshit. It's just the fact of how, like, man, I don't know. It's to say that, like, I always have this picture painted in my head where, like, what life really is like you just floating in space, right? Like, imagine you still in space. You got no motion, no propulsion. You're just there. Whatever energy you have inside of you, now you have to try to use that to start pushing forward with no momentum at all whatsoever, with no force, with no impulse, with no you on your own with what you've got from being dead still. Now you have to find a way to swim your way through space. And that's essentially what I feel that life is just like this constant, it's just a constant uphill battle with yourself. with everything around you, and it's not like in a bad way. It's just in a way that's like you need to understand that everything is killing you slowly. Everything you do, every breath you take is one less breath you have left. But then if you don't take any breaths at all, it's not like you can save them, right? Every second that goes by is a second you don't have left. Things like that. And if you start to take these things into consideration, it's almost like there's an urgency to life. There's an urgency to like, yo, you need to do something with this fucking existence, or else you're just gonna end up being a fucking cog in a machine. You're just gonna end up being some dude who was born in this village, worked for this guy for this many years, had this many kids, and then died in the same fucking village. What? No. No. I mean, maybe for some people. I mean, there's all types. So if you're cool with that and that's the life you want to live, then live that life. But as far as I'm concerned, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to just live an entire existence and just have been a fucking another number. I want to do something that impacts people's lives. I want to meet people. I want to see the world change, and I want to be a part of the change. You get what I'm saying? So like seeing shit like that, I don't know, it just brought that thought to mind. It just makes me so damn sad.
In 85, I went down for the
Well, whatever, dude.
inauguration of Daniel
You got to do it.
as president. I had never been to Central America before. And on the way in from the airport, on the main road to the Capitol, there were donkey carts. And there were people just walking.
Yep.
In my mind, hearing Reagan saying that this country and these people were a actual physical threat to the United States.
Of course, no.
I just saw how ridiculous that was.
And they do that all the time, right? Like they really find ways to turn they find ways to turn like just regular everyday common folk into like the enemy, right? Like they find ways to make it feel as if those aren't really humans over there. They're savages and they're beasts. And we need to do everything we can to stop them. And then like you show up and then you're walking around and you're like, well, this is just like my city. Like this is just like my hometown. The shit's exactly the same. There's nothing. There's people walking this way. It looks like people going to work. It looks like people buying food. It looks like people having a conversation. It looks like regular fucking life. You want to know why? Because they're fucking people. Like they're people. Like just like everybody else. And that's why like they assimilate into groups just like everybody else. And that's why they do things like commute just like everybody else and regular fucking day-to-day shit. This whole idea like it's like, for example, when we were at war with the Middle East, they painted this picture, and I promise you, as a kid growing up, bro, like after 9/11 and all that shit, the picture in my head of Afghanistan was literally like a desert. It was just a desert, and every now and then a couple caves. Because that's really what the fuck they made it feel like. They really made it feel as if like Afghanistan was nothing but a war zone. They made it seem as if like you had nothing, like I said, nothing but sand and caves. And I'm like, dude, that must be terrifying. Like I'm thinking like Call of Duty maps in my head, right? And like, bro, it's so far from the reality. Like they have regular cities, towns, villages, fucking farmers and farms. Like it's the same shit everywhere, bro. They're people.
Shortly after I got there in 1985, Reagan put a trade embargo on Nicaragua. I photographed often, trying to show how the people were affected.
I think that's bullshit. How like so many times in the past we've embargoed just feel like we embargoed like the wrong countries, you know? Like I mean, I don't know. I think I would have to do more research to go ahead and get like a firm opinion on this. But honestly, I think embargoes are only good conditionally. I feel that like if you're going to completely forbid trade within like with another country, it's got to be for a reason, right? So then do it for that reason. And when that reason's been cleared up and that reason's been fixed and that reason's gone, then go ahead and go back to status quo. But like that shit just ruins. Cuba's one of the it used to be one of the prettiest places in the world. It used to have factories like the Bacardi families originally from Cuba, Santiago de Cuba. And if you look at there's a bunch of other places like Chevrolet used to have factories in Cuba. Goodyear used to have factories in Cuba. That's why, like, if you go to Cuba, what you'll see, most of the cars are like really like, I mean, they don't look too hot, right? Because their ability to maintain it with what materials and resources they have is damn near impossible. But if you go to Cuba, you'll see some of the nicest old school cars from like the 60s and the 70s still riding around, still working, because them motherfuckers know, if there's one thing Cubans know how to do, is maintain something, bro. And that's one thing that, like, I, you gotta have pride in. My old man has a truck. My dad has a truck, bro. He's had that shit for like this. That truck is as old as I am, right? So, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they got, but all you see is those nice old school Chevys, those nice old school like Victorians and shit like that. Man, that's crazy.
And the war was really starting to affect everybody, especially after the United States really kind of put more effort into supporting the Contra rebels, which was a group that was based on the National Guard of the dictator Somoza. And it was just causing a lot of death and destruction in the countryside.
All right, let's see.
Trying to show how the people were affected. And the war was really starting to affect everybody, especially after the United States really kind of...
Dog. That's a baby coffin, dog. That's fucking impressive. Jeez. Like, first of all, like, the girl on the left, that's a face of pure anger. Like, she's not just angry at the dude because he's standing there taking the picture, but more importantly, because he's taking a picture in the time he's taking a picture and what's going on, why he's taking a picture. The lady on the right, that is sadness. That is just like, there is a pain that, like, oof.
Put more effort in.
It's crazy, dog. Bearing babies, dog.
To supporting the Contra rebels, which was a group that was based on the National Guard of the dictator Somoza. And it was just causing a lot of death and destruction in the countryside. I started going out into the countryside, into the war zone. And I can remember on one of my first trips out thinking, well, now this would be really ironic if I happened to get ambushed by Contra rebels paid by the United States, armed by the United States. And if they killed me, effectively, I would be, in a sense, being killed by my own government.
That's exactly, I mean, that's exactly what it would be, bro. Like, you imagine being out there, dude, and then like these guys come after you for whatever reason, and like this could still happen today because the world has the U.S. has interest all around the world, and then they do some shit like that. Could you imagine, bro? That's the kind of shit. That's the kind of shit that, like, when you play Call of Duty, and they bring up the little dossier, and the black lines start going away. That's the type of shit where they start drawing black lines onto that motherfucker. When the U.S. accidentally kills one of its own.
As a photographer, we were very exposed
It had to have happened, I'm sure.
What was happening. We felt safe with the Sandinistas, but the Contra rebels, we really feared them because they did not like journalists. Ooh. I was on a story, and I remember remarking to my colleagues, I said, we're just about to be captured.
Uh-oh.
They came in, they made us lie down on the ground, our face to the ground. They put their guns to our heads, and they started yelling at us and asking who we were and what we were doing there. We could have easily been killed.
Listen, bro. Like, the real G in you comes out in those moments, dog. Listen, bro. Like, so many people say, if that was me. That was me. I would have fought. Man, I would have fucking pop. And I would have thought. No, you wouldn't. Shut the fuck up, bro. Shut the fuck up, bro. Like, I don't care how gangster, how thug you are, dog. Like, that's a fucking paramilitary group. You ain't doing shit to that, dog. Like, you won maybe 5 people tops. Like, They got like 20 dudes, and they got a radio. If they hit the button for it, and they say, oh, yeah. They got like 15 more guys coming up from both sides.
There was a feeling in the U.S. Congress the Contras were not good people.
The Contras will never have widespread popular support inside Nicaragua. If we continue to fund them, we will do no more than perpetuate the campaign of terror that has always been the trademark of the dreaded National Guard.
They were also accused of human rights violations. They killed a lot of civilians. There was a big pushback that the United States should not be supporting these people.
Contras kill, Reagan pays the bills. Damn. Oh, she cute on the left. Look at her. Look at her. She's like, yeah, I'm out here. The one on the right, though, I don't know, bro. It's just like another Oliver tree, dog.
And so there was a move in the U.S. Congress to cut off funding by the U.S. government.
You know, this is a good time in history where, like, the people were actually involved in the politics of the time, where people were actually, like, saying, like, yo, hey, we know what's going on. We're watching C-SPAN. Like, C-SPAN used to probably be a channel that got watched pretty fucking regularly. Nowadays, everyone's like, what the fuck is that, bro?
At one point in 1986, the U.S.
C-SPAN's
Congress
a shit.
prohibited the Reagan administration
Get to hear these
from
fuckers
supplying
bullshit.
the Contra rebels.
Who are the Contras? Last week, Congressman McHugh and myself released a report that pointed out that 12 out of the 13 commanders of the Contra High Command are former officers in Somoza's National Guard.
Cobra Command? Oh, shit. They're out here. Hail Hydra.
These are the people who would receive, distribute, and benefit from military aid requested by the President of the United States from this Congress.
I mean, I'm going to assume you know what C-SPAN is, but for those who don't, it's like Congress television pretty much. So, like, you get to see what the House of Representatives is talking about. You get to see what Congress is talking about. Whenever they're, like, grilling people, whenever they have congressional testimonies and things like that, that tends to happen on C-SPAN. Of course, you'll get it covered on the major news networks. But for the most part, like, if you're like, man, the government isn't sharing with us what they're doing. They're working behind and you know, behind closed doors and blah blah blah. They're not, dude. Go watch C-SPAN. It's not the most entertaining thing to watch. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you and tell you that it's just filled with action and it's gonna keep you engaged nonstop. No, what you have is pretty much like people, like, they talk about it. They have a topic, they have a thing they want to talk about, and they'll take turns talking about the topic or the law or whatever the fucking case is. They present their arguments as maybe like 2 people, 3 people from each side, some shit like that. Depends on how fucking serious it is. Also depends on what senators or Congress people need to get, like, fucking, you know, a video done. You get what I'm saying? Like, sometimes they just need shit for their own social. Like, so they have to get up on that podium and start talking and make all these points so that people can talk about them having talked about these points. I mean, that's pretty much the gist of C-SPAN. And if you watch it, you're not gonna be confused the next time a law gets passed and you're like, oh, what's this now? Like, you're gonna see them having argued over it, and then guess what? Like, the law, you can go read it. I mean, are you going to? Probably not. Let's be real. It's like always like a couple hundred pages every time they come up with one of these fucking things. But, you know, theoretically, if you wanted to be informed, if you wanted to know what the government is doing, it's all fucking public information. So, you know, wasn't it a great time when the people of the, you know, of the country were like more vested in what was happening with our world and the people who are making decisions for us? Like, man, I don't know. I think so.
We must turn down that request.
So now, supporting the Contras, the Reagan administration was not only violating international law, they were also violating the law that was passed in the U.S. Congress. They claimed they stopped. The Reagan administration said, oh, well, okay, that's fine. We're not going to supply them anymore. But as a matter of fact, they didn't. They never stopped, and the Nicaraguan government was complaining. They're still sending arms. They're still resupplying the Contra. The United States said, no, they don't know what they're talking about. We're not doing that. But there wasn't any proof.
Of course.
Until
a
Contra supply plane that had taken off from an airfield in El Salvador was shot down over the jungle in southern Nicaragua. There was a pilot, co-pilot, navigator.
Were they American?
There was the cargo handler. When they got to an area where they let the Contra know they were going to drop the supplies, They'd open the gate and they'd throw them out, and then the parachute would take them down. This plane was going to the rendezvous point,
It got shot down.
It was hit by a shoulder-fired surface-to-air missile.
Dog. Okay. Not that, like, you know, shooting down planes is good, right? Not at all. Man. But you ever, like, RPG a fucking chopper in the middle of a deathmatch on Call of Duty? Like, RPG it. I'm not talking about the fucking stinger where you beep, 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 and you just release it, it just goes for it. No. No. I'm talking about the RPG GG where you and the fucking thing does a loop-de-loop, and you gotta calculate it by aiming this way so it goes that way. And then it shoots the fucking thing. That's how this fucker felt, bro. But in real life. Like, man, that's crazy. You imagine. You're there. You're like, I'm gonna get this fucker. And you're like, yeah, I got him. It's like when you play basketball. For those of you who don't really play basketball, right? Like me. When you play ball and then you shoot, and then you're like, they're stuck and you're waiting. And you're like, oh, I think. And then like, and it kind of hits the rim, and you're like, fuck. And it kind of spins around, and you're like, ah. And it goes in, and you're like, yeah. I knew that was going in. That's exactly how he felt.
It was going to crash. And so the cargo handler, he already had the cargo door open because he was going to start pushing these pallets out. He had a parachute. He wasn't supposed to have a parachute because this was a covert operation run by the Central Intelligence Agency. If there was a mess up, they didn't want anybody alive to talk about it.
Oh, man. But that's the truth, though. That's the truth. That's how they operate. That's really how they operate. That's just that's status quo, dude. Like, listen, if shit goes south, we don't want to hear about it.
And so the cargo handler parachuted to safety. Didn't know where he was. He was in the middle of the jungle. So I get this call, and they go, yeah, they shot down this plane. There's an American out there. We got to get pictures of this guy. There was only
Told you it was American on the plane.
That was going to be flying
Told
to
you.
the location, and I made sure that I was on that helicopter. So when we went in...
Holy shit. So they give money to these Contras, and they give them guns, and they see something flying up in the air.
We went in,
and they shoot it down.
Triple canopy forest. It was the jungle. And we went in.
That's crazy, bro.
So we were very low because if you're up high,
literally what he was just talking about.
Good way that you might get hit by a missile. But if you're flying low, they hardly see you. So
yeah, they don't give a fuck. They're just shooting down whatever's flying in the sky. They're like, we don't have planes, right? All right, take it out.
To the river, and there's like all these short guys in uniform and this tall foreigner. And I thought, oh, geez,
he's fucked.
That must be the guy. Then over on the left, I saw the fuselage.
Is it me, or do like all CIA operatives always look the same? They're always like semi-pudgy, kind of tall, maybe like, you know, he's probably in some decent shape. White dudes with like fucking, I don't even know, stubble all over their face.
That must be.
That's like typical CIA guy. Like the moment he saw him, he probably said to himself, "Yeah, that's a CIA
guy." Then over on the left, I saw the fuselage of the plane that had been shot down. Ooh. The helicopter came down, and we got out. Like all public relations people, they want to control things. They wanted to have a press conference. So they said, everybody here, come here, we're going to have a press conference. But
That's
I had
amazing.
seen like the fuselage of the plane. They didn't want me to go to the plane, but I just went to the plane. And so as I was going to the plane, I wasn't thinking like supply plane. I remembered seeing like all these boots, like all these army boots. And I was thinking, God, what are army boots doing out here? Well, it's because everything had been exploded, and so all this stuff was all over the place. So I went to the fuselage.
That's
there
crazy.
Were some Sandinistas there. They were pulling rifles out of the fuselage. I photographed them, and there was a guy standing on the tail section. And then I ran back. And as soon as I get there, I see down the hill where the river was, I see these guys bringing this really tall guy up the hill. I had the telephoto lens. When we first saw him coming up, he looked really worried.
No shit, he looked really worried because in the back of his head is like, fuck, why did I pull that parachute? No, man, like, fuck, bro. Imagine that guy's life story. I like that must be so fucking interesting to like be the guy who like the CIA kind of like fucked up with, bro. That's crazy.
Because he was worried they were just gonna kill him. And when he saw the journalists, you could just see him relax because he was thinking, well, I think I'm gonna make it out of here because, I mean, they're all here and they're not gonna shoot me. They brought him in front of us.
Oh shit, and they shot him.
American. And John Seiselov from CBS, they told John, okay, you can ask him 2 questions. And so John goes, what's your name and where are you from? And he goes, my name's Eugene Hassenfuss and I'm from Marionette, Wisconsin.
Of course he's from Wisconsin.
And how did you get here? And this was Hassenfuss's moment. He looked up to the sky and he said,
I got shot down off of a plane, bro. That shit was crazy. Nobody else had a parachute and I didn't know why. But I had a parachute. So I jumped out the plane when I saw the rocket coming. And that's how I got here.
I got shot out of the sky. There were 8 photographers there, and there was only 2 of us who got what turned out to be the photo that was the most telling image. In fact, the guy that was leading him was the soldier that had shot the missile.
Dude, look how young this kid is, dude. Dude, that kid's like 22, bro. He's like 22, dog. Maybe 19. Maybe 19 years old. And because of this kid right here, right? Didn't go to school. He said, I don't need that shit. I don't need that shit. I'm gonna go, give me a gun. I'm gonna fight for the government. That's all I want is a gun so I can protect my government. And they said, you know what, son? We're gonna do you one better. We're gonna give you a fucking rocket launcher. He said, what? He said, thank you, sir. He said, let me line this bitch up. See, they didn't have Call of Duty back in the day, dog. They didn't have Call of Duty. You had to figure that shit out. Look at the way he's looking through those sights, bro. The photographer told him, like, he was like, yo, look through it as if you were doing it again. And the kid, bro, 100%. This dude right here got a chubs. The moment he said that, he's just like, no problem. I did it like this. You like that? How about like this? Ooh, you know, flexing it a little bit. You see the little arm muscle sticking out a bit?
And that photo ran all around the world.
Man.
It ran everywhere.
That's great.
And in fact, the head of Reuters photos in Washington asked me why I was the only one to have the photograph. And I said, well, I don't know why, but I know that I got it. And if other photographers didn't get it, then that's unbeknownst to me at that point.
I mean, I was there. The fuck you mean how I get the photo?
And so the plane went down. There's photos of Hassenfuss. The Sandinistas said, well, look, here's the guy. He's an American. Yeah, this proves our point. But Reagan, in fact, he even said it himself. They claimed they had nothing to do with it.
Uh-oh.
So they totally cut this guy loose. They denied it. But there was all this documentation on the plane. They had all the documentation of like the flight plan. One of the documents was that Air America was a company that was started and funded and owned by the Central Intelligence Agency. So they had all this incriminating stuff. They let us photograph it and they let journalists look at it. The Miami Herald, they ended up winning a Pulitzer Prize for reporting the story.
Yes! Yeah! That's right! We did that!
About Hassenfuss and linking it to what became known as the Iran-Contra.
Although I kind of feel that like when it comes to like breaking like when it comes to breaking international news, as far as like the Caribbean and South America or like the Greater Antilles in South America, I feel that like the Miami Herald has a much better like they have a much better like ear to the ground type situation when it comes to that, because it's you can only imagine like you're in Miami, like the amount of like the Hispanic population over here is like it's huge, right? And the number of Spanish speakers. So the interest and the number of people here from totally completely different countries, right? Like it's not just a bunch of Cubans in Miami, bro. Like you got everything, bro. And with that being said, there's a lot of stuff that goes around in those different parts of the world, and therefore you have people interested in, and therefore they're catering to their audience, which is, you know, people who live in Miami. And, you know, I guess, you know, like when it comes to things that have to do with, you know, the Eastern countries like China or like Russia, you might go to like the New York Times for that. You might go to like the Washington Post. But I feel when it comes to matters of like South America, current events, things like that, Central America, the Greater Antilles, I feel like the Miami Herald kind of fucking kills it when it comes to that. Not even that, also when it comes to like trade and exports, because Miami is such a huge hub. Like our port is one of the biggest ports in the world when it comes to like imports and exports. It's a beautiful port, by the way. It's like right next to the beach.
Scandal. The photo that I took went all around the world. The other reporting, other photographs, we were able to show that contrary to what the Reagan administration had been saying, is that the United States was involved illegally in supplying and supporting the Contra rebels. I think up until that time, there was a very real possibility that the United States was going to invade Nicaragua. Reagan administration after that no longer had the support
No, of course
the
not.
U.S. public, and then ended up, they were all tied up in these hearings that started in the U.S. Congress.
It's just like a relationship, bro. It's just like we have faith that you're doing what you're saying, right? And then like when you start to show us something else, then it's like, yo, I don't know if I could trust what you got to tell me anymore. And if you're lying about that, what else are you gonna lie about? And it's just you know, that our relationship to the government is just like our relationship to any other individual. It's one of trust and requires transparency.
You wrote false and misleading letters to the Congress of the United States. The government lied to the American people about the connection to the Hassenfuss plane.
I think it's an example of what photography and what reporting can do.
Yeah.
And I think
100%.
that is
very necessary.
One of the jobs that journalists have, and I'm very proud that I played a part in that.
That's big, bro. That's big. Because at the end of the day, like, this is what I'm talking about. You need people who are passionate about what they do. Journalists, like, have an ethical duty to find the truth, to find out what's really going on, to find out, you know, who are the movers and shakers of the world and why are they doing the things they do? You know, how is that affecting us? This and that. Like journalists are really, it's not necessarily to like educate, but to inform, you know, to inform you on the things that are going on around the world. And if you don't take, I mean, like, I think what really sucks is that we start to lose faith in some of these entities because they do things like push one side more than the other. They do things like lean a little more towards the right or towards the left or whatever the case might be. And it makes it hard. We used to have a law in the United States that required that every time someone got given airtime presenting a side of a topic, you had to give equal time to the opposite side. The guy who came up with Fox News was partly responsible for Xing that shit out. He just wanted to make sensationalism in the form of like political news, or he wanted to sensationalize political news. And I mean, did a great job at it, right? He kind of like he accomplished his goal. But that being said, it's important that, I mean, if you're out there and you want to report news and you want to report what's happening in the world and you want to talk about it, it's important that you do it with the best of intentions, with the intention to like give your effort to look into what it is you're talking about. I'm not a reporter. I'm not a reporter. I'm a dude with an opinion. All right. And that's about it. These guys though, they want to share the truth. They want to tell you what's going on in the world, and they want to expose the things that live in the shadows. It's a very important job, bro. And as you can see, it could be very fucking dangerous. You could risk your life for that shit. Like, if you don't recall, earlier he was talking about somewhere over here when he touched the back of his neck and shit. What was it? It was like over here somewhere. No, a little bit later, but you know what I'm saying? He literally had a gun to the back of his neck, bro. Literally had a gun to the back of his neck. Like, he went from that to getting the fucking picture. You know what I'm saying? He went from that to getting like this fucking shot. You know what I'm saying? With the kid like dragging the dude that ended up getting like being the picture that got circulated, that ended up creating the interest and exposing the information and da 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 da. Like, you gotta be able to risk it for the biscuit sometimes, boys. Wow, that shit's amazing. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and pull up the next video. I gotta make a call real quick, but I'm gonna go ahead and pull this next one up. Oh, CoffeeZilla. 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 CoffeeZilla? All right, be right back 1 sec.
I uncovered a $500 million Ponzi scheme. And by the end of this 3-part series, we will expose offshore money laundering, fraud.
Whoa. I was muted this whole time. Like a dickhead. All right. $500 million scheme here, guys. All right. Exposed by CoffeeZilla. You see, this is what I'm talking about. Like, journalists are so important.
I uncovered a $500 million Ponzi scheme. And by the end of this 3-part series, we will expose offshore money laundering, fraud, and confront the man behind it all.
Yeah, I get arrested. And then what? I win because they're dead.
But before we do that, let's start at the beginning. After my Logan Paul investigation, I was bored. And I'd been drinking a little too much.
That's it, Coffee. I'm cutting you off.
Damn.
You have way too much.
I understand, Coffee.
Why?
Perfectly in possession of my
However,
wow, that was really well done.
I just needed a new case.
This is great. It's like a fucking movie.
Hungover with a text about something called Trader's Domain. I hadn't heard of it. This person told me that a lot of people and celebrities had their money locked up in it. It wasn't all gone. I decided it was the perfect case to get back in the game.
I love that.
Time to investigate Trader's Domain. All right, back in the $10 million studio, I've got their website pulled up here, and it says they're going to maximize your financial potential.
All right, so this is definitely sounds like a crypto thing, dog. And listen, I have nothing against crypto. I'm actually a fan of NFTs. I think they can be used in a great way. But this just seems like one of those schemes.
And claim that in 3 years, they made returns of 473,000%. According to their website, they do this by being a Forex broker, which is fine. But what's strange is that they're an offshore company, which means technically they can't serve U.S. investors if they wanted to because they're located in St. Vincent, which is unregulated. But
why would you, oh my God. See, that's the thing. That's the thing when, like, you know, as far as celebrities and whoever the fuck had their money in this, who isn't just like a regular dickhead, you know, just a run-of-the-mill idiot. But like the rich idiots who lost their money on, good. Because what the fuck are you doing putting your money into an unregulated fucking company, like a company? What? That makes no sense. It's like somebody coming up to you and saying, "Hey, bro, like, give me $1,000 and I'll get you back 2,000." And you're like, "Well, how do I know you're gonna do it?" It's like, bro, just trust me.
If that's the case, how did our friend here even get involved? And what he told me was this. Quote, Brandon is who brought me into the fund. These are the sponsors. But of course, that begs the question. Who is Brandon Sims and what is a sponsor? Well, we're going to go to the conspiracy board because I can tell it's going to get complicated to see what we're working with. So far, we have an investor going into Trader's Domain through Brandon Sims, but...
Hold on. Listen, I haven't watched a lot of CoffeeZilla content. This is probably like the first actual full video I'm watching through, like, on my own. This is great. I just love the way how he's parsing everything into, like, different places and shit.
Where does the money go? Well, I asked, and what he told me was this. It didn't go offshore at all to Trader's Domain. It went to a company called CCAP Holdings LLC.
Oh, you're fucked.
In the United States.
You're fucked.
We'll add that as well. Now, if that wasn't weird enough, in addition, Brandon wanted to hide what the money was even for that was invested. He's told our investor this: don't put investment in IMHO. Just put services for you.
What?
Now, this is where things get weird.
That's crazy.
It turns out CCAP Holdings isn't owned by Brandon Sims at all. It's also not owned by Trader's Domain. It's owned by a man named Tin Tran. Now, when you look up who Tin Tran is, he's basically a ghost. There's essentially only one
man wanted in pot growing investigation turns himself in. Oh, that must have been Harrison County Sheriff's Department. Okay.
An article about him running a weed growing operation, which he was arrested for. So what exactly is going on here? Well, to find out, I got a couple calls with 2 TV celebrities who...
Hold on, before they continue. This is what's going on here. That dude's a hustler. That dude's trying to make money. He's hungry. He's hungry. He wants it. All right. He said, "Oh fuck, I'm gonna get caught. You gonna throw my ass in forever? Let me go ahead and turn myself in before they fucking throw my ass in forever." Now he's out and he says, "Fuck, man, I still need money. Damn, what can I do?" It's like, damn, bro, this NFT shit going crazy, dog. This crypto shit going crazy, dog. You know what? Like, all these dudes using arbitrage to fucking trade this and that. And I heard about that other dude, what was it? In fucking Canada, you know, that couple that you know, that handled that scam. And then the dude had the money and then he left and disappeared with like $7 million. Bro, I think I could do that. I think I could do that better.
Who said they put money in Trader's Domain and lost it as well, and hopefully they
sucks.
can help us figure this out.
My name is Pace Morby, and I lost $950,000 in Trader's Domain.
What? What the actual fuck? Like, I get it. Like, this guy is probably one of those types of dudes who like $950,000 hurts, but it's not life ending for him. You know what I'm saying? Like anyone with the regular ass 9 to 5 making what, like 40 to 50 racks a year, that's like you losing like maybe $1,000 on an investment because you got scammed, right? Like that's pretty much the equivalent here. Like, it hurts, but your life isn't over. This guy's doing fine. Like, you know, for all you know, his money is insured, you know, shit like that. But that being said, that's a lot, bro. That could change, bro. Right there. All right. Here, I'll put it to you like this. That right there could change about 19 people's lives, bro.
Hi, my name is Jamil Damji. I invested $1 million into Trader's Domain. I have never taken a withdrawal out, and I've lost all $1 million.
What? Bro, people go to fucking gas stations religiously every other day, every week, every other week, buying lotto tickets, wishing they can win that.
And I wanted to ask how these two got involved with Trader's Domain.
That's the real question.
This opportunity, this investment opportunity at a mastermind in Miami, Florida. I was invited there.
If you can't tell, we here in Miami are responsible for a lot of things, okay? We're responsible for breaking news, right? That's one of the things we're responsible for. And we're also responsible for big money heist.
By Pete Vargas, who is on Grant Cardone's team. Pete Vargas,
just very special
came to me
people,
and said, "Hey, I've got this thing that I'm making really good money on, and you and Jamil should get involved." And this is where we meet the individual by the name of Holton Buggs. They showed me their accounts, and they're like, "Look at this. We're pulling money in every single month. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this."
I wonder where this guy is right now. Like, I wonder where this guy is right now. Like, I wonder if he, because you know what's crazy? It's like, this is part of like the fake it till you make it concept. Like, all you had to do was fake enough to get one person to invest a fuck ton of money, right? Like, the moment one guy invests fucking, I don't know, $200,000, right? Now you just have to create a website that shows this guy that he has $200,000 and show him that it's growing over time. It's very easy to fucking put that shit together, right? Now, that being said, from there, once you got that first fucking fish to bite, well, now you got dinner, motherfucker. You can get decked out. You can go fucking lease a house, lease an apartment. You can fucking go all these fancy places and eat nice food and take pictures and boost up your social. You can fucking lease the car. Because what happens, so long as your credit isn't shit, they're gonna see you have good credit. They're gonna look at your bank accounts. They're gonna see that you're flush with cash. Because the cash isn't actually sitting in a website. It's not sitting in a bank safe for the fucking client to pull out whenever. No. That money is now sitting in their accounts. That's how you get the watch. You get the bust down rollie. You get this and that, and the wine and they're living the life, dog. And then when you do it once, Now you got the appearance, you got the look. You can just do it again. You'd be like, look, we already got investors putting in this much, this and that. Like, well, you think I'm lying to you? You don't see this chain? You don't see the, like, bro, I'm out here making moves, bro. You're either a part of this, you either get with it or you get left behind, dog. Like, what is it, bro?
Gets into this incredible story of millions of dollars of
Miami,
profits that he's been able to make in the world of day trading, and shows us some accounts. Some of these accounts had phenomenal, like, just mind-bending balances in it. One of them was over $80 million. There was another account that he showed us that had over $650 million.
The fuck did he just say? 650 million?
He had said that someone had offered him $650 million to buy his trading bot. Apparently this bot was the, incredible technology that was making these fantastic returns, and the bot never had a losing day.
But he's showing us this software. It's not just screenshots, it's like actual software that I've never seen before, and it's called Trader's Domain.
I make a decision that I would invest initially $500,000. I talk to Holton and his team, and they send me wire instructions, and on those wire instructions, I am implicitly and very specifically told, how to send the wire, who to send the wire to, what to write in the memo.
Now, what I found interesting about this is, despite this being a new sponsor, look at who they're sending money to. Once again, CCAP Holdings, through Holton Bugs this time. We'll put him on the board as well. From what I can tell online, he's a small-time MLM promoter.
My goal was to share with them how to properly use the Lamborghini.
Look at the purpose of the wire that was...
What the fuck does that even mean? Like, how to properly use the Lamborghini? Yeah, bro, to stunt and to make it look like you got something. That's how you properly use the Lamborghini. Like, Lamborghini is just a toy, bro. It's just a toy. You ever been a kid and you've been in class and, like, you brought your toy to school? You know what I'm saying? You brought your new toy to school and you're just like fucking with it because, like, yeah, it's awesome. And, like, the other kids are like, whoa. Like, that's all it is. That's all it is. And then another kid brings his toy and the other kids are like, whoa. And you're like, whatever. Like, my toy's cool too, Like, that shit. Like, that's all a Lamborghini is. Lamborghini is just 100% like a toy that you show off.
Once again, it says services, not investment, which is exactly what Brandon Sims instructed his clients to do as well. And this is where I was confused, because the more people I talked to, the more it felt like everyone kind of had the same story. Take another sponsor I found for Trader's Domain, which I found from our first source once again, Mike Sims. Now, he claims Trader's Domain was his hedge fund.
I've invested in was your hedge fund.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
And it's so crazy. I'm just learning what it is.
Yeah.
Bro. You know what sucks? I've seen this kid before. I'm not sure. I call him a kid. He's a grown ass man, but he's young, so I say kid. I've seen this kid before. He works for some media group on YouTube. Like, he's a YouTube content creator, and he sat down. What he does is that he sits down with, like, black businessmen and like successful entrepreneurs, things like that, and, like, he talks to them about, like, how they got into the thing, and, like, he tries to break down. He tries to get them to give up the sauce, right? So for the sake of empowering other, young black entrepreneurs. It's beautiful. Love it. Fantastic. The fact that this kid is sitting here and sat there with this dude and he's talking about, yeah, so I just looked into it and I invested some money. That's fucking heartbreaking.
Only because when you started talking about it, I didn't understand it, but I trusted it only because I trusted your company and I trusted all the other people that invested, all my friends. And it was like a little fear of loss. Like, yo, y'all not going to get this bread without me. Right. So hedge fund, I'm up 60%, which is in, what is it, maybe 2 months, month and a half?
Yeah.
Which is crazy. It's nuts.
And then, like I said, that's one of the quote unquote higher risk strategies.
Right.
And that's the thing too, higher risk strategies, right? Like, that's how you market it. But the reality is that like you can never really be up 60%, bro. Like, I'll put it to you like this. The guy who creates the bot that gets him up 60% is keeping that for himself. Because you're literally just printing money. At 60% return 2 months, well, I'll put it to you like this. You put in $1,000. In 2 months, you'll have $1,600. Right? 60% of that, fuck, we're going into math here. Just take half of it, about 800, so maybe like 900, maybe $1,000 on top of it. Now you got $2,600. Now you probably got like 2,500. Another 2 months, like the point is that you're gonna start to generate at least $500 a month, damn near immediately. And then from that point on, the time it's gonna take you to generate 600 and then 7 and then $1,000 a month. It's only gonna take like what, half a year, maybe like 3/4 of a year. That's the guy who figures that bot out. They're not gonna sell it to the public, bro. Like they're using that shit themselves because they literally just found their own money printing machine. Like, and I get it. Like maybe the argument could be that if you shared it with more people, not shared it, but like if you charge for access to it, you know, you can make even more money. That's true, but let's be honest, bro. If you're making 60%, the thing is for you to make 60%, you need a lot of people to lose. You need a lot of people to lose money for. That's the way the market works. The only time, by the way, if you're ever into stocks or trading or anything like that, understand that the only time you make money is because other people lose money.
So it is a higher risk.
It is.
But y'all haven't lost in that long.
We haven't. There are losing days, but no losing months.
Now this all sounds.
But I thought it didn't have a single losing day.
Great. And according to leaked texts from Mike's assistant, we find out that these investment accounts people are putting in look identical to the ones on Trader's Domain. So it doesn't take a genius to figure out Mike Sims is putting some people's money into Trader's Domain, and it looks like he's claiming it's his hedge fund. But how could that be if Holton Bug says it's his trading bots? And still yet another sponsor for Trader's Domain, called Goldbridge, said they were following a master trader. This is Goldbridge.
We've said that our protocol mirrors the results of a master trader. And to this day, we haven't had a red day. This is real stuff. We're not.
So like this one says like you might have a losing day. We don't have losing months. This one says we don't have a losing day at all. The thing is, if you did enough research into this fucking thing, you probably would have seen both of these things and been like, nope.
Not using new capital, to pay off the old investors. Like there's no
It's crazy.
Ponzi.
Ah, yes. Nothing says it's not a Ponzi scheme like saying,
it's not
hey,
a
guys,
Ponzi.
This is not a Ponzi scheme. Now, of course, I went ahead and put everyone on the board here, but the more people I talked to, just the more confusing it got. Like, who's running this thing?
Yeah,
and
for
what
real.
is it? Is Trader's Domain a hedge fund? Is it Forex? Is it a bot? What's going on? Seems like not even the investors knew.
He said like it's a bot that they're using to trade gold.
Very credible Wall Street trader, done this for a long time. An experienced trader who had built a large network, made a lot of money for people that I knew and personally trusted.
It really feels like the more sponsors that I find.
All right, hold on.
To trade gold.
23,000.
Credible.
23,000, 10,000. Look at this kid. $10,000. You're a dickhead. It's just you. You're so young with 10 racks, bro. Like losing 10 racks. Like, what are you doing? Like, don't stop it. I'm 27. See this guy right here, bro. That 27,000 hurt. That shit hurt his ego. That shit hurt his ego, bro. I want to hear a little bit of what he had to say.
Done this for a long time. An experienced trader who had built a large network, made a lot of money for people that I knew and personally trusted.
It really feels like the more sponsors that I find, the more confusing it's getting. And the details, even when they seem to line up, always slightly varied. For example, if you put in your money with Alex Santee of Centurion Capital, they said they were going to use an expert advisor trading bot, which might sound similar to Algo Capital, another sponsor, who said they were using a trading bot as well, but with a twist.
I thought, yeah, basically they described it as a bot that was configured with settings. They had it down where they would win like almost all the time. And there was a master trader overseeing the bots.
So this time there's another master trader involved.
What is this concept of a master trader, bro? Like, what is that someone who, like, I don't know, studied, like, got like a double major in fucking economics and sociology or something, or like, you know, with a minor in cultural studies and political science? Like, that's the only way. I mean, I can only imagine that you have to be a double major, double minor, right? You would have to literally be some kind of freak of fucking nature, graduated out of fucking, I don't know, MIT or some shit like that, and you're just like out here in the world, like reading people like their algorithms. That I could totally understand. And I'm not saying that doesn't exist. Well, what I'm saying is that when you have a bunch of dudes who just pop the fuck out of nowhere, like, you would know about the master trader before you would know about the dudes. You get what I'm saying? You would know about this guy who, like, for example, everybody, you know, Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett is such a great trader. Like as far as, like, he knows how the fucking markets work. He has an understanding of the interconnectivity of things, which is what I'm always trying to come back to, like how important it is and how all these things are interrelated. Once you can understand that concept, you understand why markets go up and down. You understand what's a good day, what's a bad day, and what's just a red flag and a false flag. And when you're able to do that, that might make you a master trader. But trust me, people are gonna know you before anyone else needs to tell them who you know, like. And you say master trader, like, you would give the person a name. You would say, oh yeah, no, we're working with, like, you know, Santi DeMarco. And they'll be like, oh my God, Santi DeMarco? Oh, I've heard of him before. That guy's, yeah, he does really good. In fact, if you actually had a master trader get behind one of these things and, like, overwatch, like, what the trade bot is doing and how they're working and da-da-da-da-da, you could probably come up with a really solid fucking business. Like, honestly, like, you could probably come up with, like, a decent fucking, like, a system where, like, your peoples are probably making, like, a good 15% return. And that's healthy.
I mean, trying to find the truth feels like I'm trying to grab smoke or something. Every time I thought I understood what was going on, I'd hear a new story. I even found one about NFTs. They said they were investing in NFTs, but really, the money was just getting siphoned off to Trader's Domain.
Yeah.
And part of the reason I'm going through all these examples with you is to show you the absolute insanity of this. Everybody's feeding money into the same place, all under different reasons with different stories. But they did have one thing in common. You see, everybody was making lots of money and getting very rich with Trader's Domain, at least at first.
When I meet dozens of people, all of whom have been in this platform for over a year, all of whom are saying that they pulled out more than their principal. Those people have unbelievable stories of, like, yeah, I've made this much money. I've done this much. I've pulled this out.
And look, truth is that, like, if you probably pulled out your money in time, you probably made out like a fucking bandit.
And not just stories, but like, hey, yeah, here's my bank account. I got a wire 2 months ago.
So my brother started with 10 grand. And with that 10 grand, it took him, bro, he's made way over $100,000. But, bro, all the way up till like last October, he's been able to cash out. No problem. And he's quadrupled, made so much out of this, made profit.
So, like, there's some winners in this, bro. Winners win, losers lose.
This is the reason people were throwing their money into Trader's Domain. They saw their friends and family getting paid out legitimately. But like all good things, that came to an end. Over time,
borrow from Peter to pay Paul.
To get delayed, and people started noticing something odd.
The only time he noticed that it started slowing down was in October, where they started telling about the 20 days, but it took them more than 20 days.
And so what ends up happening is one day we're looking at our phones and all of a sudden we're losing. And we're not just losing a little bit. Our accounts are on drawdown like 50%. And then Pace calls me. He's like, this is where the rug gets pulled out from underneath us, man. I felt like something was wrong. I feel like this is where the rug's gonna get pulled out from underneath us. It felt like that day I was feeling sick. I'm like, man, damn it, we got scammed. And then all of a sudden, everything magically got erased. And they said, oh, the servers refreshed. We had to refresh the servers. Like that somehow changed all the trades.
What does it say? Blank. Anything to report today? Want to manage the field. Yes, we were working with MetaQuotes to correct their lag with our pricing engine. Wow, dude. Yeah, okay. There's an issue with the server, and then this and that. Yeah,
We had to
okay.
refresh the servers. Like that somehow changed all the trades.
They said, no, it's the aggregator, the way the aggregator communicates from the platform to MetaTrader 5. The data gets scrambled, and then it gets screwed up for the whole day. And then by the end of the day, I actually made money.
He just changed the trades. He just changed the exit, dollar amount that he took on that trade.
Now, this was alarming. Trades can't change after the fact. Losses don't just magically become profits. That's impossible. And people were confused. Why were their withdrawals getting delayed if they were still making money? And that's when people started to panic withdrawal. They wanted their money out.
Yo. And when that shit happens, whether it's a Ponzi scheme, a scam, or a bank, the shit goes under.
This is when things went from bad to worse because payments stopped coming altogether.
Yeah.
And the CFTC issued a red list for traders' domains.
Dude.
Accepting funds from U.S. customers, which, as we said, is illegal. And a few months later, as I'm investigating this, an official investigation is announced as well. Quote, CFTC charges several people and companies in an $145 million Ponzi scheme.
But it was well over that.
And in that report, they named somebody we know, Tin Tran, the owner of CCAP Holdings. According to this document, Tin Tran, quote, operated a fraudulent scheme from approximately April 2020 to the present. He directly accepted at least $144 million from approximately 913 pool participants. Not only that, we also see another familiar face, Mike Sims, or Michael Shannon Sims, who was also mentioned as one of the promoters. So I guess at this point, you're probably wondering, well, hey, look, I guess they caught him, right? Case
That's right,
closed.
Mike Sims.
And that's what I thought too. But just as I was ready to give this whole case up, I started to hear a different name that changed everything.
Something happened in November or October, and people just stopped getting money back.
Nobody's communicating with us. Nothing's happening. Everybody that's involved keeps telling us that we're ungrateful and that we're asking too many questions. And I told Jamil in like first week of January, I said, we got scammed, man. These guys must be running a Ponzi scheme or something's going on.
I started doing my own research about what the company is, who the owner behind it, team behind it, the audit team behind it. And that's when I find out there's this one guy named Ted who's making all the trades and he's running this Ponzi scheme.
We now learn of this savant that is the man behind Trader's Domain. And so this is the first time I ever hear the name Ted Safranco. And I'm like, who the freak is Ted?
They found him, boys.
CoffeeZilla. I don't think he's ever dealt with someone my size before. And nobody knows anything about his family because they don't have the resources I have.
Oh,
It
really?
took me weeks to go through all the documents. But eventually, a pattern started to emerge.
Hi everyone, my name is Ted. I've been working for many years now, almost 15 years. I wanted to have a lifestyle change. I wanted to get into something different.
I mean, this is sociopathic behavior, right? This is what a real sociopath does.
Give me a
Whoa. Okay, you want to come after my brokerage? You have a death wish. I want to put a bounty on your head. What is this?
break. I'd take a flight to the UK right now and just show up and curb stomp their heads. I win because they're dead. And just show up and curb stomp their heads. I win because they're dead.
Man, coffee. What have you found here? Oh, these are his supporters. Wow, that's awesome. Nah, good for him, bro, honestly. That's a lot of fucking names. Oh, that's a lot of people. That's cool. I like how he did that. That was really good. Wow, dude, that was... Wow, man. You know, I mean, it's no surprise to me. Like they really fucking, you know. Here, it's a new technology. It's something people didn't understand. And the thing is, the truth of the matter is, like, it is a revolutionary fucking technology, right? With like bots and the way people use this shit. But you know, like what is it, like arbitrage bots and all these, you know, all these different things. Like, it's great. It's great that we have these tools and these tools work. You know what I'm saying? And it's better for you to get on board with one of these actual bots that, like, you know, not one of these fake things, right? But like one of the actual arbitrage trading bots. They exist out there. You know, fucking before, because I put it to you like this. You still have people who are trading their money using like their own brain, right? You still have majority of the people in the stock market who are what, like above the age of 40. That's probably the majority of them. And the majority of them are probably making decisions on their own based on what they read in the news and what their advisors are telling them to do. Now, that being said, these bots work really well, and they're better at reading people because they're leveraging just fucking numbers. That's it. Like, you go down this much, stop it. You go up that much, keep going, you know what I'm saying? Like, they do these things where it's like, it makes it easy to like say, all right, if you go up this amount, we're good, keep going. When you start going down, after you've gone up this amount, you go down this amount, you can set rules, like the same rules that you would apply for yourself as you're sitting there thinking, what should I do with this trade? You know what I'm saying? Like, where should I put the stop at, this, that, and the third? You could put all that thinking and you could literally write it out. You could write out what your rules are. How do I trade? And once you write all those rules out, you recognize that you have a pretty logical system. Not saying that it makes sense or that it's good, but you've used the logic to go ahead and discern these different steps you use when you trade. Well, then you could program that into a bot, and the bot can do it for you. And then now you don't have to sit there and stare at the screen and make these decisions across multiple investments. You can have the bot do it for you in the way you would do it. And as you go along, when you see things you don't like or you want to go a little bit riskier, this and that and the third, you go ahead and change it. And that's great. And if you're not doing that, you're going to be losing out money to the guy who is doing that. And at the end of the day, what's going to end up happening is majority of people are going to be using trading bots. Once you get to that point, it's just robots going against robots. You're just literally trying to pay for the best robot. And it'll probably cost a pretty penny. All right. That was a good one. I really like that one. That was CoffeeZilla. That's first part 1. So he's got 2 more of these coming out soon. So, you know, we're going to catch those for sure. And let me see. Ooh. All right. This next one's a little old. This next one's it's a little aged. But I think it's fire. Here we go. Causing a natural disaster to party.
As far as the
case of James Scott. Oh, shit. This is like Katrina.
As far as the eye can see, the great Midwest flood is spreading.
In the summer of 1993, in the American Midwest, there were torrential rains happening for prolonged periods of time, the likes of which had not been seen in almost a century.
Don't tell me the guy caused that.
500-year flood. We know we cannot contain the fury of a river.
The levees were breaking in sequence with that last crest of water coming down the Mississippi River.
We arrived on the scene just minutes after a levee break in Nutwood, Illinois.
This was the biggest national news story.
I think it's very interesting how, like, we as humans terraform and like we try to decide which way to let nature flow. And I think the scary part about that is when you have accidents like this and you have things that go wrong, it's like, well, no shit, Sherlock. Like, you decided to play a game that you don't even know the rules for.
Getting downstream now with a vengeance.
It wasn't if this levee would fail, it was when.
If you lived in Quincy, Illinois in 1993, you knew exactly where you were on the night of July 16th.
It's fucking horrible.
When the levee broke.
This is the Airco station, folks, in West Quincy. It has just ignited
not 1, but 2 disasters at the same time.
Oh,
the flood
shit.
was a catastrophe. People lost their homes, people lost their farms, people lost their businesses.
Wait. Is this story about to be that this levee broke because this dickhead threw a fucking party? Cause like, no way. I literally just got goosebumps. I got me bumps.
By the grace of God, nobody lost their lives. The real casualty is that there's still one man rotting in prison for the rest of his life for causing this flood.
I live that day every day.
Exactly what happened.
The motive was this.
Oh, you're a
Scott was
dickhead,
gonna
bro.
go break the levee to strand his wife in Missouri just because he wanted to party. Something's not adding up.
What?
I've spent 27 and a half years in prison. I've had my whole life stolen from me. Is it right? Is it fair? No, it's not.
They got the guy too? Oh my God. This is great. This is great. This is fantastic. This is how you do it. If you need to tell a story, bro, you need to get both sides of the fucking matter. And the fact that this guy's around to tell his part, beautiful. Not like that other guy from the fucking CIA video. He's probably fucking dead, right? Oh shit.
My name is Dr. Adam Pitluck. I'm an investigative journalist, and I wrote a book about James Scott and the Great Midwestern Floods of 1993.
The mighty Mississippi is out of control. Its banks straining and bursting along 400 miles. The effort to hold it back failing.
The river got up, stayed up, and it got up, way up. 17 feet is flood stage, but we're used to we can deal with 24 feet. 93, it went over 32 feet.
The Mississippi River floodwaters were threatening to overtop the levee, and 14,000 acres of prime farmland was threatened to be washed out, along with the summer crop.
All right, you see, okay. So you're just saying like, maybe they should have built it better. Yeah, but that's the way the fucking government works. So like when you're sitting there thinking to yourself, the government's coming after your ass, just remember, that's the same people who can't fucking build a proper levee and maintain it in case some dickhead wants to fuck around and ruin it. Now that being said, this shit, like you might be thinking, oh, wash out crops. Like who gives a shit? Bro, that's literally how you eat most of your food. So like when shit like that happens, and then you're wondering why the fuck the cheeseburger costs $3 instead of $2.50, which by the way, when I was a kid, it was like fucking 50 cents. This is fucking why. This is why.
Agriculture is one of the prime features of this area. My role during that time was I was president of the board of commissioners, so we hired bulldozers and we pushed the sand on the land side up to create a higher levee.
West Quincy, Missouri was in a...
Yeah, but like, okay, I understand like, you're pushing up the sand. I get that, but like at no point do you put like concrete there. Like you don't decide like, let's just make something that's like fucking sturdy, being that like we have this fucking powerful river that's not going anywhere anytime soon, and we know that if it cuts through, it's gonna ruin all this shit. Like, okay, I get it. This guy's a dickhead for like doing what he did and ruining however many lives, right? But at the same time, bro, like, fuck, man, y'all could have done that better.
Dire
sand
situation. When the river levels started rising, a call for help went out. That call was for everybody: citizens, National Guard, law enforcement, paramedics, basically all hands on deck to come down to the river.
Maybe the sand works better. I don't know. I don't.
We had Dad.
I don't think so though.
In and Junior holding a bag and Mom tying it off.
There was no other choice. It could not have been done by the government alone. There wasn't enough manpower.
Like, I get that. Yeah, I get that. Like, you couldn't have done it with the government because they can't pay enough people to do all that. And it makes sense. I mean, this is your fucking community. At the end of the day, like, if you're looking outside and like, you're like, oh shit, any day now that water's gonna come hit us, like, you'd probably want to go outside and help too. Like, you'd probably get off of work at 5 o'clock, drive through traffic, get home, see that shit's going down and be like, fuck. Why? Because if you don't take care of that, then your house is gonna get flooded and you're gonna be really fucked.
It was a way to be connected to the effort to keep that river
from
flooding.
I like that.
It was remarkable.
That's cute.
It was remarkable.
That little bag.
To see.
It worked. The levee held for the 14th through the 15th. They thought they were out of the woods. But the reality was on July 16th, 1993, the levee gave.
On the night of the 16th, as the remaining levees looked as if they would hold for another day, tragedy strikes West Quincy.
Look at that, it's a gas station, dog.
The barge came through the break in the levee and knocked over the fuel stations. The inferno that went up and started moving south with the water. It was really devastating to look at that, and it just broke my heart.
It's not even that, bro. It's the fact that, like, remember, like, oil and water don't mix. So it's just like, if you have oil in water and it catches fire because there's a spark or whatever the case is, it combusts. boom, you're gonna have fire water, and that shit's fucking terrifying. That was like when the oil spill happened in the middle of the Gulf. Like literally, the water was on fire for a few days. Like that shit's crazy, and this shit happens. And then like the difference between the Gulf of Mexico and the Mississippi River is that this fucking river is like right next to houses. So like, you know what I'm saying? And the fact that this bitch is flowing like a motherfucker, at least in the ocean, there's like currents, is gonna drag it out to a certain point. The fire will eventually give out, whatever. It's kind of scary, more of a like an environment thing than like, you know, run for your life type of thing. This is a run for your life type of thing. Fuck that. You imagine that water flowing, it breaks through the fucking levee, it's going on, flooding houses, but then that fucking water is also on fire?
And south with the water.
Fuck
it was
that.
Really devastating to look at that, and it just broke my heart. We did a great effort, and it was so efficient and effective, and then we lost the levee.
Wow.
How it gave
that must hurt. That must hurt.
And the real thrust
that must
behind
hurt.
the story. One of the people that was on the scene that had been sandbagging that day was James Scott. He was coming down from the levee when he was stopped by a local reporter to do a man on the street interview.
Were you on a break? Were you with a whole bunch of other men? You weren't there at the levee when the break occurred?
No, everybody else left. You know, I decided to stick around to the next crew come.
Within minutes of this tragedy, to see that the first person on the scene being interviewed on television was someone that all of local law enforcement were quite familiar with. They thought this is beyond coincidence.
No way. No way. If you ever watch Shameless, it's like Frank. It's like Frank showing up on the scene. You know, it's just like this random, like, look, the way he says, like, all of local law enforcement is familiar with. It's like, that means they've dealt with this guy a couple of times.
To be at the scene of a major catastrophe. So immediately the focus was on Jim Scott.
They're like, Bob, come over here. Are you seeing this shit? Yeah, the whole levee thing, right? Is that fucking Jimmy Scott? Is that fucking Jimmy? This motherfucker. And boom, and they went, and then they went for his ass.
I knew Jim and his family.
Yeah, you did.
And his brother, because when
the chief deputy
juveniles, they had burnt down and destroyed a large historic school called Webster School. I thought there was a possibility.
Whoa, what?
When they were juveniles, they had burnt down and destroyed a large historic school called Webster School.
What the fuck? That's crazy, dude. Bro, this is literally like Shameless. This is just like Shameless. If you haven't seen Shameless, I highly recommend it. I'm only on like, I'm not too far in, so don't spoil anything for me. But that shit's great. And this, I mean, this isn't a great situation. Obviously, that's just a show. That's fucking crazy. I don't think people understand like the importance of like historical buildings and shit.
I thought there was a possibility that he may have caused the levee breach. He was more into partying than he was being helpful. That's the first thing that hit me. And the second was, what is he doing there? Who authorized him to be out there on his own?
Yeah. Like if everyone's fixing the levee, wouldn't he just be at the bar chilling with the homies?
And the answer is, he shouldn't have been there. And the next thing I know, they've charged Jimmy, extradited him from Illinois into Missouri, and then prepared for the court cases.
I was arrested October 1st, 1993 for an unrelated burglary in Illinois. During interrogation, they had several cases they was looking at, they was trying to close, and one of them was the West Quincy levee break. If I was never on the radar of the Quincy Police Department for things that happened as a kid, none of this probably would have never occurred.
Bro, he even looks like Frank, dog. Like, you know what I'm saying? If Frank had short hair and was like not an actor, like the real world Frank with short hair, looks like yeah.
I came to know about James Scott when I was a junior at the University of Missouri studying journalism. My editor at that newspaper at the Columbia Missourian said, I want you to go to the prison and get his side of the story because something's not adding up. My goal was not to go and free James Scott. I didn't necessarily believe that he was innocent. I had a job to do, I had an investigation to do independently as a journalist. So we are here at the former Missouri State Penitentiary, Jefferson City Correctional Center. In 1998, the first time I interviewed James Scott was this room right here.
Oh, shit.
I'd never been in a prison before. I'm a kid. He was just a kid. He was in his 20s at the time as well.
Look at his face.
He presented this story as adamant as he was about it, and the fact that he had admitted to all of his past transgressions, I picked up on sincerity, because something he said sounded like he was telling the truth. Something interesting came out of the sentencing.
Look, bro. I put it like that's just a tactic. I mean, I'm just assuming here, but to me it seems like if you're always lying, then why not? Or like you're always doing fucked up shit, right? You're always doing fucked up shit. You're trying to get away with it. You're probably always lying. The best way to fucking get away with the next thing is to be honest about all the other things you've done. Be like, look, man, I've done this, I've done that. Look, bro, I'll even tell you that I've never told this to anyone before. When I was this age, I robbed this and I took that and I set this on fire, whatever the fucking case is, man. But this right here, bro, I did not do this. You've seen it in movies. I mean, I've seen it in movies. I don't know if you have, but niggas do that shit all the time, bro. It's just a simple. It's just simple. Okay, it's trying to get you to trust them, right? And how do they do that? Well, they say, okay, look, I need to present honesty. So if I present something ugly about myself, it's gonna give them the understand. It's gonna give them the impression that, look, this is an individual who isn't scared to talk about the dirty things they've done. Once you've given that impression, now you got them in the bag. All you got to do is close the deal. How do you close the deal? You close the deal by saying, like, look, I presented all these facts to you. These are facts. Like, there's evidence for this. This thing that you have no evidence for of me doing, I didn't do. That's all it is. And just wait till there is evidence. That's not what they're saying, but I'm telling you now, they just wait till there is evidence. And all of a sudden they look like dickheads and you look like a dickhead for trusting them.
Judge Robert Clayton said, I can't take your property as you took theirs, but I can take your liberty.
Which I hope you have time to contemplate, that you'll come to find is more precious. You are a career criminal. There is a perversion about this because you obviously get a sense of excitement or power or sexual arousal or all of the above.
Oh, Judge, stop it.
When you commit these acts.
James Scott.
Look, man, 100%, bro. That's exactly what it is. You know, when he said career criminal, man, that shit hurts. Cause like it's like you really just need like a couple things on your record before you sit before a judge for something else, and they say, "Oh, bro, this guy's a career criminal." This guy, and what's a career criminal? It literally means that you've made a career out of doing out of doing wrongful shit. You've made a life. You've made a living. You've gone on with your life instead of being a useful member of society. You have instead decided to plague society with your presence by ruining it for everybody else, and you've made a living doing that.
Was a local bad boy for sure, but he was never a violent criminal. He was never a sex offender. This sort of vitriol, these sorts of labels, the way that the judge worked himself up and the way that the jury was worked up during sentencing, there was no other outcome that could have happened.
When James Scott was convicted, I think the majority of the citizens in Quincy and West Quincy, they felt that justice had been served.
When he was sentenced, the community reacted very favorably. They were very happy for the conviction. And years later, when I interviewed people in Quincy, one elderly lady said, hang him from the nearest tree and everyone go home for lunch.
Damn, what?
Later, when I interviewed people in Quincy, one elderly lady said, hang him from the nearest tree and everyone go home for lunch.
Yo, now, okay, here, time out, pause, wait a second, like, that lady comes from a different time. She comes from a time where things were done differently. She comes from a time where if he did something wrong, folks, you know who I'm talking about. He took the thing from the place, hang him from the tree, and everybody go to lunch. Jeez.
His mother,
you know where that came from.
The lone presence in his life that has been rock steady this entire time. She never wavered. She never doubted him. She never lost faith that one day he'd be released. Even though the life sentence he received pretty much ensured that if he ever gets out, it'll be when he's an old man and she likely won't be around anymore.
That's tough, bro. You gonna go interview her?
Hello, how are you?
Hi, Adam. Oh, I'm doing okay.
Good to see you.
It's been a long 25 years, and we go back a long time.
Yes, ma'am.
I think we was in the garage doing something when you pulled up and came in and told me who you was. And
Well, the first time I came here, wasn't I still in college at that time?
I think so.
I was a kid no older than Jimmy when he got picked up.
His name is Jimmy? That's what he called. We called him Jimmy when he was little. And then we just shortened it down to Jim as he got older. Everything I have for Jim is always in this drawer here. This is a picture in grade school, a typical child. Wasn't that no problem or nothing. He was just a happy-go-lucky little boy. James sitting on the couch relaxing with a cat on his lap. Another picture. Hope you like the photo, Mom. Show everyone. I love you, your son, Jim. I enjoy getting pictures from Jim, so I can see how he's matured into a nice young man that he is. He calls me every night, and we have about 20 minutes on the phone.
Dog, that's so sad, bro. Not because this dude Jim is, you know, innocent or guilty or whatever the case is, but and I don't know, man. I think about the times I had to call my mom from jail, and it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking knowing that you have someone who loves you so much and put so much time and effort for you to get to where you're at, just for you to get to where you're at. You know what I'm saying? Like, just for you to end up doing that. Like, I think that, like, it's one of these little things that, like, when you're young, you overlook it so easily. And sometimes even when you grow up, and I think that's an interesting thing too. Just because you grow up doesn't mean you learn all the lessons you're supposed to. You know, part of growing up and maturing is learning those lessons, but not everybody's mature. Age ain't nothing but a number. You know, what it really counts is what you're doing in your head and what's going on in your head and how you recognize and understand the world around you. So like, bro, just the thought that, like, you know, like, imagine you put your time and effort, right? Like, let's just say you play video games and you put your time and effort into creating a character and building that character over time. And then let's just say one day there comes an auto mode, right? Where, like, you can just let the character play for themselves. And for one reason or another, your character gets banned. And you're like, whoa, but I had him on auto. What happened? And then you go and you look at the reports and you see that your character did some crazy outlandish shit. And you're like, what the fuck? I didn't train him like that. I didn't train my character to do that. That's the kind of shit. And then when they get banned, it's just like, you know, they go to jail, you know, and it's like the thought that, you know, you recognize at a certain point, yo, like, and everybody's situation is different, but if you at least have one parent that cares about you, you know, if you have, you know, and I'm not talking about the silly idea we tell ourselves, we're like, oh, my parent doesn't love me because they're so tough on me, this and that. No, I'm talking about like tough love is a thing too, right? I'm talking about, like, you know, you just need, if you have one parent that loves you, trust me, like, you having to call them from jail, it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. And I'm not sad. I'm not saddened or, like, rather made emotional because of this guy being in jail, but rather because I know that mother and what she's going through must be out of this fucking world. Like, how much pain she must be in because her baby boy is living his life. She's lived her life and she's been out in the world and she's been living with her freedoms and her rights. And her baby boy is sitting in a jail cell rotting. That's what goes through their minds, bro. That shit sucks. and it sucks that she's in that position.
Still not yet. He called me this morning, and I told him, I said, Jim, I said, you're going to be fine. I keep telling him, I said, you're coming home. Love you too. Bye.
After how many years?
I've always had the hope that, you know, he would be coming home. I feel it right here in my heart, and nobody's going to take that away.
Bless her.
Right now, I'm sitting outside of a pool hall.
And, like, if you do get yourself in trouble,
that,
like,
used to be a spot. Looks pretty empty.
You don't think about that?
Here,
Like, you gotta think about that type of shit. Like, how is this gonna affect the people I love?
Where Joe Flax is. For all the years that I researched this book, I always had this niggling feeling in the back of my mind that James Scott was convicted twice by 2 impartial juries.
Tell me, what does that word mean? Niggling means annoying, troubling, or irritating in a petty way. Petty, trivial, or inconsequential. Excessively demanding of time or attention.
Of his peers. So what am I missing? In 1997, after the second trial, there was this new motive that came up that wasn't introduced at the first trial. The motive was this: a 16-year-old kid named Joe Flax, who at the time was under house arrest. He testified that James Scott told him at a party right before the flood that he was going to go break the levee to strand his wife in Missouri so he can go party in Illinois without her.
What? So, like, totally like a Frank thing, right? Like, this is like, are we not missing the fact that this is like Shameless in real life? Or are we just gonna ignore, like, okay, like 100%, like, he's like, oh man, this bitch is gonna have to cross this bitch on the way back home. I'm trying to get to this party. That bitch Sally, you know, Sally, man, I've heard things about Sally, bro. And, you know, I want to see what Sally can do. Damn, I gotta, fuck, how do I make sure she don't, you know what I'll do? If I just get rid of the bridge. This nigga was thinking like fucking Looney Tunes. All right, this dude was doing fucking Wile E. Coyote type shit. He was like, oh, they were like, oh, if I blow up the bridge, then he won't be able to get past.
And that made headlines. Here was a story of a man that caused a natural disaster just because he wanted to party.
That's
Joe
crazy.
Flax is still the anomaly in this equation, in this story. Other than his explosive testimony, nobody's interviewed him or talked to him since.
So are they gonna do it today?
We could find.
Ooh, are they gonna talk to him now?
What's up, guys? Hey, let me ask you guys something. You guys were here in '93.
Say again?
Were you guys here in '93? You know a guy named Joe Flax?
Joe Flax?
Yeah.
Yep.
He used to
I
shoot
know
stick around here. Where's he? Is he here?
I haven't seen him. I don't think so.
You haven't seen him around? So they know who he is. They haven't seen him around in a while. And they said this is the only show in town right now. So I figure we'll try 1 or 2 more bars. Question, I'm looking for the guy that might have used to drink here or hang out here.
That's a nice little bar. That's cute.
Rabbit hole.
Hold on. That's a nice little bar, dude. That's very fucking, hey, you know what I'm saying? That's a cool little spot. You sit down. You got nice little art, the fucking little wood. It's a nice little town, bro. They got their shit together. It looks cute.
Used to drink here or hang out here. This rabbit hole seems to be getting a little bit deeper. Let me ask you, if you're a
Is Joe Flax a real person?
Badass in town, what bar would you hang out at? The last ditch attempt tonight. I have a phone number for Joe Flax that dates back to 2004, 2005 when I was doing research for the book, and I haven't called it since. So I figure might as well give it a shot.
That's gonna work. It's gonna work. Hello? Wait for it. Hello?
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic
Oh.
voice message system.
I'm not gonna leave a message. I'm gonna, if it is his phone, I'm gonna hope curiosity gets the best of him tonight and he calls back to see who the number was. I'll probably try him another time just to get on his phone twice, and if that doesn't work, I'll call him tomorrow morning and leave a message and say who I am. But he wouldn't talk to me 15 years ago. I don't anticipate him talking to me now.
That is very smart. This guy knows what he's doing, bro. He knows exactly how to catch this fucker. Like he's like, you try it twice, you pop up on the phone, they look at it, they say, who's this? I mean, obviously it wasn't a wrong number because they called twice. And then the next day they call, they left a voicemail. Now you're saying like, oh shit, okay, this must be for a certain reason. I get ice real quick. Give me 1 sec. That's smart as fuck. And honestly, like, you could even watch some of these things and you could even learn from these fuckers. Like, what were we watching yesterday? Something about, kind of like fucking fake it till you make it. You fake it till you make it, plus you use tactics like this, bro. Bro, you can get it anywhere.
One point I'd made contact with him. He said he would talk to me if I paid him. I told him it's not a journalistic practice to pay for a story, and I wouldn't pay him, and I haven't talked to him since.
Yeah, you shouldn't be paying for stories. That's for sure. Because the idea is that, like, you could pay for a story, cool, but how do you know the person isn't just charging you to tell you a lie? Like, it's when they don't do it for money, that's like, it's a better inclination of whether or not it's real.
James Scott was convicted on purely circumstantial evidence, no physical evidence at all. I think that there's a laundry list of circumstances that you could point to that show James Scott is innocent. 2 independent soil scientists were shown a topographic map of the area. Both of them were independently asked to point to if there were to be a breach of this levee, where would it be? And they both picked the exact same spot.
Damn.
That's the science. That makes it irrefutable, in my opinion.
This is where the levee broke, opposite of Quincy, which is over here. The conditions that increase the likelihood of levee failure are all clearly visible right here, even to the point that the narrowest place in the river is right here where the levee broke. And then, on top of that, we have the Corps of Engineers desperately, in the last hours before the levee inevitably failed, bulldozing the backside, cutting channels in the backside. There is no way in the world that this
Jesus Christ.
Channels in the backside.
Oh, look at this.
There is no.
What is that? That's crazy, dude. Like, they had that sand stacked high, bro. See, I could understand why they were so confident in it, because it's like, bro, that's a lot of sand. Like, honestly, the amount of sand that it would take to fill that hole is probably a couple thousand pounds, bro. Honestly, not even kidding you, I would even guesstimate to be like about 6,000 pounds worth of sand that would have to sit from the fucking bottom of that shit all the way up to the top, fucking compacted to make sure it doesn't fucking fall through. Fuck.
No way.
And then he picked the right spot? How do you pick the right spot?
In the world that this levee was not going to fail.
Look at that. What is that? Oh my heavens.
That is my professional opinion, and it hasn't wavered one bit in the 28 years since I started looking at these data and these situations and going through the evidence. James Scott is innocent.
Where we're standing right now, that.
Oh shit. You heard what he said? You heard what he said? Like, bro, like, this shit was fucked to begin with. It was fucked to begin with. Like, this shit wasn't gonna hold up. And when it was fucked, we were trying to fix it up.
That's it right there. That's where the levee broke.
That's correct.
Let's go take a look at it.
When these levees that were over top, particularly levees like this that are pretty much homogeneous with texture, this levee is pure sand. We're still walking on sand.
Yeah, you're sinking in it while you walk. Let me ask you, I mean, this is how soft the levee is. I mean, it's bone dry and I'm sinking in it.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine when it was saturated.
Yeah, of
course.
course.
This was the only location in which insurance paid for damages, and they did it because a human created the disaster, not a natural disaster. And guess who the largest landowner was on the Missouri side of the levee break? It was the civilian chair of the Levee District Commission.
Damn. That sucks. That fucking sucks. That means that the dude who is responsible for making sure this fucking levee works and it doesn't fucking break through, that dude, his land was the land that got immediately fucked when that shit broke.
Norman Hare, who has a new
Good.
house which he built with his disaster relief funds that he should never have received in the first place. So one of the key witnesses for the prosecution in the James Scott trial had a financial stake in the outcome and never admitted it.
Whoa, that's actually big. Now, we're obviously gonna have to take this guy's word for it. I mean, I'm not gonna completely trust this guy, but if what he's saying is true, he never admitted that. The fact that like that shit breaking through and the insurance funds and this, that, and the third, and like, yo, that's big. I don't know, maybe he never had to admit it. Let's be honest. Like some of these stuff, like maybe it wasn't relevant to the case at hand.
You need to have flood insurance for the houses in the bottoms ahead of the flood, or you won't get reimbursed for the damage to your houses.
So it looks like he's expecting floods. I mean, I guess. I mean, maybe they flood occasionally and shit. But like my thing is like, you're the guy who's responsible for the levee, right? If the levee breaks, then flood happens, right? Okay. Then there's the whole thing about people need insurance. Like, you know, you get what I'm saying? It's almost like it's a full circle thing where it's like you have responsibility over making sure the thing doesn't break. But if it does break for whatever chance or reason, you would then, you know, this thing where you have to have the insurance actually comes and pays you out. So being the guy who's responsible for that and then it breaking through, I don't know, like where is the consequence for not making sure that the levee was good?
In my research, I try not to go down the conspiracy theory rabbit hole, but for the farmers to be made whole, they needed a scapegoat in order to have a insurance claim because they did not have federal flood insurance through FEMA that covers flooding. They did have homeowners insurance that covered vandalism. So were it not for somebody vandalizing the levee, they would not be able to file a claim.
Oh, shit. That's where it gets even darker. That's where it gets really fucking twisted because you know what's going on there? Now it becomes, is it possible that to get that money out, like you said, they had insurance for vandalism. They didn't have the federal flood insurance. So it's like, you know, you say, all right, let me save a couple dollars here and I'll just buy this one instead. I'm not going to get both. Things are too hard as it is. That's a whole different conversation. But with things being as hard as they are and me only picking one, well, now this shit happened. Well, fuck. If this is the case, if it's the case that this dude fucked it up, whew, I'm good. I'm covered. My farm's going to be okay. I got this money. We're going to be able to do things. And especially that one guy who worked for the commissioner dude, he's going to be like, bro, if one dude takes the fall, then guess what? I get a new house. We fix this shit right up. I'm chilling, right? The other dudes are shitting bricks. The other farmers are shitting, like the actual farmers are shitting bricks because for them, it's like literally their livelihoods, right? Their land's getting destroyed. And from there on, like probably their house as well. Like they have a lot more to try to rebuild than the dude who just wants a new house, right? The commissioner guy. That being said, we need some guy to take the fall for that. But if there isn't a guy to take the fall and this just happened because of poor engineering on the county or blah, 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 and we don't have that insurance, then I guess we're fucked. You know what? Nah, we're not fucked. He's fucked.
Acts of God, force majeure, was not covered. Acts of vandalism were.
The insurance.
This guy might be innocent.
Somewhat all of it, yes. But, you know, your insurance never covers if you have a car wreck. You've got your deductibles, and it's not going to cover everything, but it helps.
And what were your feelings about James Scott?
I would rather not say. James Scott has served his time in the Jefferson City prison, as I understand, and I think that he has served his time.
You look at this old man's face, bro, and you think of all the things this old man has lived through life and all the ups and downs. Like, sometimes we look at our elderly as if, like, they're foolish. They have no context of what's going on. And I get it. Like, maybe your grandma doesn't know how to use her iPhone. But trust me, when it comes to actual life, like being alive and living through life and how to live through it, trust me, these motherfuckers know a lot more than you might think. Because as much as you know, just imagine if you stacked 50 more years of knowing on top of that. And then you're where they're at. And I get it. Maybe some of your opinions might be based on the wrong things. Maybe, you know, you might not necessarily have the best of information available to you, or you haven't, consumed proper information. But you've lived life. You've dealt with people. You know what they're like. You know what they're not like. You know ups and downs. You know how to read people at that point. You know what an instinct is like. You know how to trust your gut. There's so many things that you have unlocked by the time you're at that level that you just don't have at even my level. And I know a lot compared to where I was fucking 10 years ago. And I'm fucking mind blown by the fact that I even made it this far, bro. The fact that I'm alive is a goddamn miracle, because I look back at my former self and I'm just like, holy shit, dude, like, you're a wreck. And like, it's crazy. You live long enough and you're going to know plenty of shit. That guy's face is the face of someone who knows something and ain't fucking saying it. This old man knows how to talk proper. Think about it. He's been the commissioner. He was the commissioner then in 1993. That was what? Almost fucking 20 years ago? I'm sorry, not 20 years ago. Almost 30 years ago.
Whether he earned it, his prison term or not, I'm not going to say, but the judge thought he did.
You see, whether he earned it or not, I'm not going to say. Because you know the answer. You know the answer. But the judge thought he did, so, you know, it is what it is.
So that's up to the court systems.
Dr. Hammer, have you ever met James Scott?
No, I have not. I'm at the age now where it's time to actually do something, and I'm going to attempt to get to the governor and see if we can drum up enough information and get him to grant James Scott a pardon.
Shit, look at this guy, bro. Look at this guy. I'm at the age where it's time to give a shit. That's pretty much what he said. I'm at the... Oh. Listen, for those of y'all out there, every age is the age to give a shit. If you're not working towards what you want to do in this life, if you're sitting there just fucking twiddling your thumbs, living day by day, wondering what's next, you're doing it wrong, dog. You ain't got to wonder what's next. You got to plan what's next. That's the big difference. Now, that being said, this dude waiting this long to start taking action, I mean, I guess. I mean, maybe because the temperament, the time, the climate, the political climate as well, maybe all those things have changed the society. Maybe he might be able to get that through. Maybe it's a matter of time. But, man, I'll tell y'all right now, you got something you want to do, you better fucking do it.
Because, frankly, this makes Missouri look terrible as a state.
Even if someone else is doing it.
Back in the 1820s.
Yeah, Midwest River Justice.
Midwest River Justice. Absolutely exact.
So how many years has it been since we saw each other?
14 years? 13 years?
Has it been that long?
Been a long time.
You're looking good, man.
Yeah, thank you.
You're holding up well.
So are you.
Yeah, a couple of kids later, you know.
That's what angers me most about my case in general, is that they stole the chance of me having children.
Not exactly. I mean, you get out. Let's just say you're innocent, right? You get out. You gotta find yourself a little Wisconsin damsel. You gotta find yourself a little cheesehead. You know what I'm saying? She wants to get, you know what I'm saying? Like, you gonna find some, dog. You ain't that old, dude. Like, come on. I mean, if you're in jail forever, you're fucked. But, you know what I'm saying? You get out, dog. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got kids, dog. Like, dudes don't start making kids. That's the difference. That's why we're so fucking dispensable. Because we can just keep popping them fuckers out. It's females who are indispensable because they only have a certain amount of time. You know what I'm saying? So, like, You know what I'm saying? So I get it, dude. Maybe you might be a little too old for someone who's a little too old, and whatever the case is, dog. But you know what I'm saying? Play the field, bro. Play the field. You got hope, Jimmy. Don't give up.
When I first interviewed you, we were both kids. I remember asking you how you're being received. You were saying that...
That's crazy. Imagine him sitting there looking at this dude and being like, bro, I sat down with you like when I was a whole different person, when I was still in school. Like who you are in school and who you are like years after you graduated, completely different fucking people. And the thought that like now this nigga's lived an entire life. He had kids, he's had a career as a journalist, he's written books, he's done all this shit, bro. He's done all this shit. And all the while he's done all this shit with his life, what's Jimmy done? Jimmy's been in timeout this whole time.
No one could believe it. Like, why you were in there when you told him your case. Has that ever changed all these years later?
The new guard now, they're like, they hear about my case, they're like, you're locked up for a flood?
You've been in here 27 and a half years. Jesus How do you replay Christ. Those days, those June and July days sandbagging? Do you ever think, did anything I do, could it have possibly contributed to the flood?
There was some people who made statements saying that Jimmy wanted the levee to break so he can party, mess around on Susie, and this and that. You know, I had stake in the West Quincy levee. There was an entire community, and I was part of that.
And that's an important point, though, is everybody was there. Your original parole date, if I recall, should have been in 2021.
They've changed my pro hearing date to July 2026. So I'm not eligible to be released until 2028. That's what they told me.
What's going to happen at that parole hearing? I know you've been maintaining your innocence all these years. Would it not be easier for you to go in there and say, I'm sorry, let me out?
Why?
Just to get out.
Why? That goes against everything I believe. I've done a lot of stuff in my past I'm not proud of. The fires, the burglaries, the thefts, you name it. I have a past that I'm not proud of. But when it comes to the West Quincy levee, I'm sorry for what people lost. I'm sorry for what we went through as a community. Because like I said, I'm part of that. I had stake in that in the levee. But for me to go in there and say, I'm sorry for something I haven't done, I can't do it.
Well, I mean, you know what that's going to mean.
Oh yeah, I'm fully aware of that.
So you're willing to do the rest of your life in this place?
For something I haven't done?
Holy shit. Holy shit. I mean, look, bro. If he's willing to argue that he didn't do it and spend the rest of his life in that prison, honestly, the only good ending to this story, like really, like the only, how do I put this? The only interesting ending that I see to this story is this man ending up serving the rest of his life in prison and him having been innocent. And I don't say that because that's what I want for this man. I think prison is a horrible system. I think we don't have rehabilitation in our system. We don't have a way to get these individuals to find a different path. We don't do anything for them. We just put them on fucking timeout. And we pause their life. We don't even pause their lives. We pause them. We pause their existence while we let the rest of the world just keep running without them. And then we try to reintroduce them into a system that's left them behind for however amount of time they spent behind bars. I think the only way you get a message across in this that really fucking like hits people where it fucking hurts is if this man spends the rest of his life in jail and he's actually innocent. Because that says something about the powers that be. That says something about the individuals and individuals in general who are willing to do this to a human being for the sake of getting what they want. Now, if he's guilty, bro, rot in jail for the rest of your life, bro. But if he's not, if he's really not, then I'm sorry, but I think the only good way the story ends is him being a martyr. I think everything else is just like him getting out. People are always gonna question whether or not it was really him. You know, and like he said, like he has that parole thing, and if he says that, oh, I didn't do it, they might just keep him there even longer. Like that shit got pushed back from 2021 to 2028. What? What? I have a hearing this year, and I'm ready for it. I'm prepping for it. I'm like, yo, on this day, I'm going to court. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna say it like this. I'm gonna look the judge in their eyes. There's a lot of mental fucking preparation that goes into that, right? And then you tell me that shit gets put back 7 years?
I haven't seen you in 14 years. The last time I was here, we took a picture.
7 years. 7 years ago, right? 7 years ago was what, 2016? All right, you ready? 7 years ago, right? I think we were just getting to our second term with our first black president, right? Or 2016, that was Trump, right? Hold on, I'm trying to think now. I can't even think straight. Let me see. We got Biden 20, so that's 2020. Then 2016, Trump got elected, right? All right, that's 2016. That's 7 years ago. 7 years ago. I'm trying to make a comparison to this. 7 years ago, all right? Ray tracing was barely a fucking thing on PCs. Unreal Engine 5 didn't exist. Fucking AI, the way we use it now, not the thing that everybody was already using in the back end, right? But the thing that like consumer front end, like people are using and interacting and creating shit with, that didn't exist. That didn't exist. Nobody was talking about Diablo 4, right? Like being a YouTuber was kind of like still a weird thing. It wasn't really something people accepted yet. Being a content creator, being a streamer was just kind of starting to really become a normal thing. You get out 2023 and you're looking around and you're like, what? Hold on. People are making a living on the internet making videos, talking about shit. You say, whoa, wait a second. We pulled out of Afghanistan? Oh, wait a second. Hackers. You mean to tell me nerds on their computers stopped a fucking oil pipeline from working? And then they paid the bill? The people who owned the company paid the ransom? Whoa, wait a second. Not only did we pull out of that war, but almost immediately thereafter, Russia gets in a war with Ukraine? You know how much shit is happening in this scope of time? 7 years to get your fucking the date that you're thinking you're about to get out.
Picture together in front of that mural.
Not even get out. At least argue your point so that you can get out on conditions.
That's still there. Yes. You've been looking at that mural for 14 years. I haven't had the same posters on my wall or pictures now, artwork on my wall for 14 years. You're in the same spot for 14 years. If I get angry, what do you get?
I stopped being
for real, bro.
Angry and bitter a long time ago.
How do you do that?
That's not the kind of person I want to be today. I hate this case. I don't hate the people involved with the case. I hate what they did. I hate the lies that was told. I hate the bulls that was put on my back. I've spent 27 and a half years in prison for something I haven't done. I've had my whole life stolen from me. I've spent my whole adult life in prison. Is it right? Is it fair? No, it's not. They say, well, you was convicted. Well, yeah, I was. I was convicted on circumstantial evidence. I never caused the West Quincy levee to fail. And I'll take it to my grave.
I think society would tell you that a person's past kind of tells you what path he's taken. If you have enough circumstances, and it's like a puzzle, you just keep getting piece after piece after piece.
Yeah, but
pretty soon you got a picture.
That's to assume that people aren't capable of change. That's to assume that, like, I mean, and like, I get it. Like, I even said it earlier, right? He's done it before, he'd do it again. You know what I'm saying? He's probably just presenting a front in this case. And it's really hard because there's certain things that we need to recognize that are just part of someone's character and who they are versus things that people do when under pressure. And the thing is though, like even if you compare all his past crimes, like when that fire was set to the building, like were there people in there? Was it late at night? Was it in the middle of the day? You know, things like that were like, yeah, you might be willing to get in trouble. You might be willing to do crazy shit, but are you willing to kill someone in the process? That's a different question. You get what I'm saying? It's like these people who do fucking prank videos. Like, yeah, you're willing to act a fool in public, but are you willing to get your ass beat for it? It's shit like that.
I feel like the right person was prosecuted and convicted. I've gotten people that have killed people and did 6 years. You know, Jimmy is serving a lifetime sentence, and that is strange.
Yo. Whoops, I fucked up. Even if he did do it, right? Whoops, I fucked up. This thing happened. I didn't do it for a good reason. How many people died? I understand a lot of property was destroyed. I understand that. I get it. In the multitudes of, like, you know, the hundreds of thousands of dollars of damage. I get it. 100%. But this man literally just said he's had murderers get out after 6 years. A human killing. If no one died in that flood, then what's going on here? Like, what, property damage? And because of the financial cost, like, even what, like, so are you gonna what, average out his life, like his yearly expected income? You know, it's even $40,000. 20 years off of $40,000. 20 years? Is that not $800,000? Is that almost $1 million? 20 years making $40,000 a year, especially if you're serving. Like, would he have not been a better use or a better fucking service to society if he would have been on the outside? If he would have been fucking working a job and paying taxes? Would that have not been a better use for this human being?
What does it say for the criminal justice system as a whole? I mean, it clearly has its flaws when
100%.
this guy and many like him that committed what ultimately were non-violent crimes. Remember, nobody died, nobody was even injured in this flood.
That's what I'm saying. Nobody died. And I get it, it's property damage. But if you're gonna stick him in jail because he ruined property, then bro, at least put a fucking value on the time he's spending in jail and equate that to the fucking damages so that this motherfucker knows, well, once I served X amount of years, I covered the fucking damages. And bro, not just that, this man maintains his innocence. Bro, I don't know whether or not he fucking did it. I don't know whether or not he fucking did it, but I know the system that's keeping this man in jail is not right. It's not right, it's faulty, and it has cracks in it, bro. Like, there's no way, that doesn't make fucking sense. You kill somebody, you literally stop that person from doing anything they could have possibly done, which includes fucking bettering the world. And because that potential is there, that's why we value human life so much, is because every human life has the potential to make this world a fucking better place. So you know what? Don't just go killing people at random. He didn't even do that. Dudes who have done that, 6 years, this guy's doing life?
They're just eking time away.
The more information I'm getting out of this, the more I'm starting to see that, like, nah, bro, this guy was set up, dog. This guy was set up, bro.
Could be
that Joe character. That Joe character, they gotta talk to him.
Reform. I mean, he's gone through all the classes that they put you through in here to learn how to reform, to learn how to re-enter and recommit to society. And we're still in the exact same place.
This is what the Lord says. You will be in Babylon for 70 years, but then I will come and do for you all the good things I have promised, and I will bring you home again.
Amen.
And this is a praise. It's an answer to prayer. Jim is coming home. I don't know when, but Jim's coming home. And he's going to call me one of these days and say, Mom, I've got my stuff packed. I'm coming back. I'm heading to the house. So I believe that.
I'm continuing to speak out for James Scott because essentially there's nobody left other than his mother. and she doesn't have the platform. So while I still have a platform, I'm going to use it because I think it's a very sad reality that James Scott might die in prison.
I don't know the guy. I never interviewed the guy, and I'm not him, right? But you're talking about all these different perspectives from these individuals who are involved in this matter. And the only person who might have given you some kind of inclination or have been at least on the side of this guy did the wrong thing, all he said was, I'm not going to say if he did it or not. All I know is that the judge thought he did. Like that was literally the strongest convincing thing on the side that this guy did the thing. That and the random individual you can't get a hold of. The individual you can't get a hold of because he interviewed, did he even do an interview? Like, he didn't even talk to him the first time he tried to contact him when this guy wrote the book. And when this guy started interviewing. Based off of the fact that this guy's an investigative journalist, I don't think this guy's just looking out for his homie. I don't think this guy is just going to try to cut this guy slack because he feels bad. I think this guy's done his research enough to want to put his reputation on the line. And because he's saying these things, and because you see all these other people like the fucking in tech, you know, the engineer, the civil engineer that was like, yo, this shit isn't working out, and it just so happens it's on this dude's land, and that dude, what he do with the money? He bought a fucking fancy ass house. Like all these things, and the fact that like the farmers needed someone to fall in order for them to get their money back. It just seems like everything got pinned on this guy. Now the reason why this guy's gonna end up dying and rotting in jail is because if he's let out, that court said he's innocent of those things. The moment that court says he's innocent of those things, guess what? We need to figure out who the fuck is guilty for those things. And that's what powers that be don't want to do. They don't want people sticking their nose into who was actually wrong. Because the moment you start sticking your nose into that, you're going to start to see a lot of cracks in the concrete. And when you start to see those, you start to wonder whether or not the foundation is as sturdy as they tell you it is.
I think he'll maintain his innocence, and they'll say that he shows no remorse, and they'll put him back in. Legally, I don't see any other option other than a gubernatorial pardon or Supreme Court. I don't see that happening.
There are people here in the state of Missouri who have done more heinous crimes, but because I'm not serving a life sentence or on death row as a result of a rape, murder, child molestation, sodomy, anything that involves DNA, people just will not assist me.
Yeah, they can't prove that he did it or didn't do it. So like, it's just like, if you trust him, you're just taking his word for it. And like, as you heard the judge say, he's a career criminal. So it's just like, well, how can you really trust what he has to say?
In 1993, this is the biggest story in terms of natural disasters, the 500-year flood. All the disasters that we've come to unfortunately accept because they've been happening with more frequency hadn't happened yet. Are there more people out there that we could pin floods on, or hurricanes, or tornadoes? That's the problem I'm still having, is that you have one person in prison for causing part of the great Midwestern floods in 1993. The whole country was underwater, the whole midsection. But there's one guy in prison for it.
Yeah, like that, like the circumstances of that year, things were going like how is it that the rest of the country or like other states were also going through these issues? This could have just been a climate thing, yet this one dude is in jail for this thing. It almost seems as if like all these other places got hit with this disaster, this natural disaster, and because of this one place, there's this one guy that they felt they could have pinned it on, and if they pinned it on him, they could have made the insurance money. So you know what? Let's go ahead and do that. Let's pin it on this fucker. Let's get that insurance money, because you know what? Fuck it. At the end of the day, who's gonna question us, right?
Think about that. The next time there's a flood, and it's all over the national news for a week, and then it goes away.
fuck is this, bro? This is the system we live in, dog. Dog. Just a fact. This man is serving a life sentence for something that, as of right now, I'm convinced he didn't do. Honestly, after watching, like at the beginning, I was like, this guy's a dickhead. But by the end of this, having seen all these different accounts and having like heard all these different opinions, like, bro, I can honestly tell you, like, I think it's crazy. I think the part that hurts me the most, honestly, is the fact that his mother didn't get to see him free. And she opened that book every day and she prayed and she asked God and she, you know what I'm saying? Like, if anyone knows their child, it's a mother. And the fact that, like, you know what I'm saying, 2026, right? Like, that's like, you know, like, it's a date to mark on your calendar, because it's just like, I wonder what's gonna happen with this dude now. But it's just, it doesn't matter what happens next at this point. You get what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I think it's beautiful that his mother thought he was innocent, but you can't tell me for a second that his mother thinking he was innocent and him getting out as an innocent person, as a person who didn't commit the crime while she was alive, like, you can't tell me that means more or means less than it happening after she died. Like, this man never got to have another dinner with his mother, bro. He never got to sit down with her again. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, like, you could visit and maybe, you know what I'm saying, get a hug and a kiss, but you imagine that? You imagine getting like accused for, like, you fucked up in your life, right? You fucked up in your life. And now all of a sudden you're the fucking scapegoat for something you didn't do? And what's that cost, bro? What's that cost? Your ability to live your life, have a family, be with your family. That shit's fucked, man. It's fucked. You know, like, if you've been in the system, if you've dealt with it, like, you damn well know that when these motherfuckers come after your ass, like, and I'm not talking about like the fucking Midway, I'm talking about city. I'm talking about cities, city life, city cops. You know damn well they don't give a fuck. You know damn well they don't give a fuck. Because they're living with the constant worry of whether or not you're going to kill them. So they're not going to give a fuck. They don't give a fuck. And then you enter a system that doesn't give a fuck, that literally puts you on pause while the rest of the world keeps going. Like, I could have sworn there's a Black Mirror episode that does that for you, right? Like, and then at the end of the day, bro, like you don't even let the nigga see his mother? I'm sure they might have let him out for the funeral. But fuck, man. Like, Having to be in jail and hug your mom from jail versus being at the dinner table and hugging your mom there versus the last time you see her is when she's already in a coffin. That's just not right, bro. That's just not right. We're talking about like they have classes to try to rehabilitate them into society and this, that, and the third, but you're literally devastating the last part of their humanity. Man, prison system is fucked, and it's fucked. Oh shit. Alright, I gotta use the bathroom real quick. We do probably like another video or maybe two. I need a minute. Woo! That was a lot, bro. That was a lot to take in. We're gonna put up the smoke break sign. We're gonna put up the smoke break sign. Boom, smoke break, 5 minutes. Oh man, I gotta blow my nose. Holy shit. That was just fucking. Man, that really got me going, huh? Where the fuck are my Crocs at? I gotta blow my nose. Shit. Whoa, storm break, dog. Give me 1 second. Alright, now, ladies. Yeah. Goose back a minute bit. Man, there's some old breaks necessary. Necessary. Holy shit. I'm dying. Dead. Alright. Damn, bro. I'm thinking about like dedicating fuck. Some good shit. Lemon cherry gelato. I'm thinking about having like dedicated days for certain type of material. You know? The thing is that like I like to first time react, right? So I don't want to necessarily just like pick shit at random and then not know what is the video actually about, thinking it's on in lieu with other things. All right, I don't really have. Let me see. Scams using jet skis. Oh yeah. This one. All right, some more crypto shit. All right, yeah. Kind of get away a little bit from the, from that last video. That last video fucking tugged my heartstrings. Man, that shit hurt. Man, knowing homie's mom passed away, shit, that shit killed me. All right. On to the next interesting piece of entertainment. With 1.1 million views. This was done 5 months ago from today. Well, maybe not exactly from today. But scams, zealots, and jet skis. Life inside the crypto scheme. Oh, I'm sorry. Scene.
They say money can't buy happiness.
Whoever said
that ain't true.
Have enough money.
Yeah, 100%.
This is garbage.
Amen.
This is the most Bitcoin thing you could do at a Bitcoin conference. It's terrible.
Tear up. Wait, he just ripped up.
Instrument of financial terrorism. We're at the New York Stock Exchange.
And this is for everyone who has been taken advantage by the big guy.
That's awesome. Please rise. It seems very stressful because we're not just talking about a couple dollars. We're talking about millions of dollars potentially.
Miami, baby. How is it that every single one of these videos we watch today has something to do with Miami?
Turning on me like, yo, you're a scammer, blah, blah, blah. Are you a scammer?
As clickbait headlines warp our view of the world.
Yo, this guy's the shit.
Looking for the
this guy's the shit.
On this episode, crypto.
mind you, I've consumed a lot of content in the past. I haven't consumed a lot of Vice stuff. I've consumed like, maybe like, I could probably say maybe like 20 videos, maybe 10 in my whole lifetime, right? Not counting the ones that we've been doing on stream. Now, that being said, I've seen this dude enough times to know that this guy's the shit, bro. This guy's the shit. Like this guy lives an amazing life. Like the day this guy writes an autobiography, you need to fucking get it. This is gonna be good.
It's a safe and easy way to get into crypto.
I don't think so. If you watched the Super Bowl this year, it was hard to miss the 4 crypto-related ads featuring big celebrities and a QR code. While the price of digital currencies has skyrocketed over the years, so has the hype. But something caught my eye when watching an episode of Vice's Dark Side of the 90s that retold the cautionary tale of the dot-com bubble.
There's no bigger stage in the world of traditional marketing than the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
Every .com was buying up the media space to be on the Super Bowl.
The comparisons between the Super Bowl ads of the dot-com bubble and the crypto craze were striking. For those living under a rock for the past few years, cryptocurrency,
or if you've been in jail for the past, however many decades.
These are digital money that can be sent between users' online wallets. Each transaction is recorded on a ledger known as a blockchain, which is then stored in larger chunks of data that are verified by other computers on the network.
All right. Yeah, so like every single computer on the network is responsible for not just making sure that these are all correct, but to make sure like they're also trying to figure out what the next one is supposed to be. The good thing about this is that you have multiple systems, individuals, you have people across the world fucking using this shit. You don't have just one central server system like Bank of America or any of these other centralized systems. It doesn't even have to be a bank. It doesn't have to be about money. It could be even like insurance. It could be hospital. Like everything's in one place. Imagine if you have it decentralized, the probability of you being able to fuck up a record or even lose a record becomes a lot less, because now you've used individuals. So many different PCs and servers are now fucking storing this information that if you just knock one out, it doesn't matter. All fucking 1,000, 2,000, 8,000, 8 million of them are still fucking pushing forward the same fucking process.
Cryptocurrencies are not backed by...
This is where I say like this fucking technology is so fucking revolutionary. Like the fact that people just fucking hopped on the NFT schemes and just fucking ran with it and said like, oh well, crypto must be bullshit because they're schemes. Like go fuck yourself, bro. Like it's just the next step. Like yeah, there was a .com bubble. He just talked about it, which led to a bunch of fucking websites being created that no one fucking used, and a bunch of people making too much money, scamming people, making websites that weren't doing what they were promised that they were going to be doing, right? Same shit happened with NFTs. A bunch of people making NFTs, promising shit that they can't do, things that they don't know how to do, whatever the case might be. But guess what? Hey, end of the day, the most successful businesses in the world have websites. So at the end of the day, guess what? The most successful businesses in the world are going to be using blockchains and crypto. But the fact that so many people are fucking misusing this shit is giving it a bad name. And that shit fucking pisses me off, because I'm an avid believer that this is a technology that can fucking better the world. And people are just taking advantage of it in the wrong ways. And because of that, everybody else is starting to look at it as it's a bad thing. It's not. It's just fucking technology.
By any other asset, and technically have no intrinsic value.
Man.
Its worth is based on what people are willing to pay for it. But proponents say there's a lot of value in moving away from a centralized money system backed by paper currencies, known as fiat money, which also don't have any intrinsic value,
Very
but
true.
is backed by the faith in its issuer, mostly governments. But there's no shortage of critics who have raised the alarm about the potential nefarious uses of cryptocurrency.
EU agrees to tame Wild West with new crypto market rules. Yeah, good luck. What's up, baby? Hey, you know where this is? My city, boy!
To better understand this newfangled money, I bought a ticket to the 2022 Bitcoin conference in Miami, a fever dream for anyone into crypto. This year, over 25,000 of the most faithful Bitcoiners came to celebrate the digital asset. While there are thousands of digital
Easy's the song of my
Bitcoin
people.
is considered the oldest and arguably the most well-known.
You ready, guys?
We're
going to the moon.
Oh my god.
What?
For those of you guys who don't know, in the crypto world, going to the moon is like the price of whatever the fuck you invested in all of a sudden skyrocketing for no reason. And the reason why people believe in this shit so much, it happens every day. People like new fucking coins get made and their original value is like $0.0000000000001, right? So it's like it's worth practically nothing. But the thing is, you buy 1 million of those, right? You probably only spent like $1, right? And after you spent $1, for some reason, that value of that random coin, for some reason, doubles, triples, you know, fucking all of a sudden becomes a cent. And from 0.000000000000001 to a cent, well, fuck, now you went from an investment of $1 and you've made $10,000 or fucking $1 million. You get what I'm saying? Like that's the to the moon part.
What are you doing down here? Are you networking? Are you?
I'm just a huge fan, so I'm going down and seeing all the people that like Bitcoin.
Yeah, I had gotten so many emails about this thing, bro, and like you literally, I think you had to pay like, I think it was like $50 for like general admission, and then the next ticket was like they had like a $75 one, then they have $125, and then they had like this $400 one, which got you like back access and all that shit.
It's cool because it brings us together, and then we kind of branch out and network among ourselves. And we're all so early still. People think they missed the boat on the opportunities, but that's not true.
So what are you doing here, Nick Nasty?
The money was good, the weather was right, and the women are nice.
What are you such a fan of?
The whole crypto revolution, you know, like anti-government, being your own bank. It's all cool.
All right, so he's talking a lot of shit here. I don't think crypto is inherently anti-government, because at the end of the day, in order to buy these coins, you have to use some kind of money, some kind of fiat currency. You have to use either dollars, pesos, fucking euros, whatever the case might be, rubles. You get what I'm saying? So you have to buy into it using a government money, and the value of that government money really determines how much fucking crypto you get to trade in for. I think that's just basic math. I don't think you have to be a fucking scientist to figure that one out. Now, that being said, I don't think crypto is inherently anti-government. Now, what it does do is you're allowed to convert your currency from your government issue currency, and you're able to convert that into something that isn't government issued, something that isn't ran by a government or controlled by a government. And I think that's a good option. I think having multiple options like that are good. In fact, the reason why I think these things are good is because if you're talking about regular fiat currency, you're talking about money that depends on the value of a country, right? So if your country does something good, or if you go through hard times, or if you go through good times, the price goes up and down. You're saying, well, Gxxsei, the price of cryptocurrency goes up and down. Well, have you not noticed how fucking closely correlated the price of cryptos is to the American economy? You want to know why? I'll tell you, it's not that fucking complicated. It's simply because the majority of people buying into crypto are Americans. So when the fucking economy goes to shit, they're like, well, fuck, here's this very fucking tentative investment I have, this thing that I don't know whether or not it's going to go through or it's going to be good. So let me go ahead and sell my funds on that end so I have some money to back me up in the real world. And that's all it is, right? Like, they're so closely correlated because the majority of people using it are Americans. Now, wait till the rest of the world starts using it. Wait till enough people have access, not just to an internet, but not just to a phone, but the availability to have money, to deposit it, transfer it this way, do all that. Wait till enough people can do that. And now you have a global currency. That's something we've never had before. And you might be able to talk about the US dollar as a global currency, but that's the only version we've ever had where everyone's like, yeah, I know what that's worth, right? Wait till this shit keeps going. It's not going to stop. Like, just because there's been scams and schemes doesn't mean that the technology is faulty. The technology is good. Like you just saw, I just explained it to you. They just explained it to you. It's going to work. But now how people are using it, that's fucked up. Same thing's happened before. What hasn't happened before? Global currency. Just give it time.
It is an interesting crowd, but it's a fun crowd. I've not met anybody who's.
And the people in the space are the shit. I mean, except for the fucking schemers.
She'll never forget you.
Whoa.
After a while, she's gonna love it. She'll tell her friends. Eat ass, she'll never forget you. After a while, she's gonna love it. She'll tell her friends.
I think that dude's from Miami. 100%. He must be.
Well, the crowd definitely had some folks who were a fun.
That's some advice.
If you're into eating ass. But I was here on a mission.
You know what I'm like?
Know why big.
And listen, hey, let's be real. Let's be real. Let's be 100% honest. Nobody is actually into eating ass. All right? No one is into eating ass. But if you ever done anal before, you know it does something for her, right? So you might go that extra step, her or him, whatever the fuck you're into, right? You might just go that extra step because she gonna like it.
Of all
They
the
gonna like it.
cryptocurrencies out there, was the best and had the most devoted fan base. So I hit up Max Kaiser and his wife Stacy Herbert, who are minor celebrities in the Bitcoin world.
Orange pill, orange pill.
This show is all about sats, margs, and orange pill.
Thank you much.
All right, cool, guys.
Do you get stopped pretty frequently in
fuck?
events like this?
Well, you're about to find out. What's up? What's going on? How's it all going?
Oh, I think
Okay, my pleasure. My pleasure. Hey.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Max calls himself a Bitcoin maximalist. To even use the word crypto around
Bitcoin Maxi
him is a faux pas.
Why am I in this show?
Because you're the crypto expert.
No, crypto. That's
You're
a
the
curse
Bitcoin
word.
expert.
Don't ever say that again today, or I'll just be unmanageable.
All right,
I'm going to be a
meant-
stroppy.
I meant
Storm off without quit this whole project.
Either this guy's a genius or like either this guy's like thinking at 1,000,000 miles an hour and whatever you hear out of his mouth is just like the sum of those things and what he chooses to let out and filters through, or you're literally hearing everything he thinks. This is a scary individual.
Is Bitcoin not a cryptocurrency, or do you not even consider them in the same vein?
They're not the same. Only Bitcoin is truly decentralized, so you can't really make the comparison between them.
Bro, like a basic understanding of technology would just like show you how that's not true. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that like there aren't people making coins that aren't decentralized, but like Ethereum's highly decentralized.
I wanted to ask Max why he didn't
In fact, Ethereum is probably like the only true competitor to Bitcoin.
consider Bitcoin a cryptocurrency. But we were constantly sidetracked by everyone who wanted to take a photo with him.
Oh, so he's popular.
All right.
For life. All right, 1, 2, 3.
All right, let's go. Awesome. Let's do it.
They got Miami Vice jerseys. Miami Vice jerseys with Bitcoin on it. With the Bitcoin fucking initials
Nice.
as the name. Look at that. That's crazy. That's
Okay,
great.
Okay, come on. You gotta get me somewhere. Okay. I'm gonna be.
Hey, listen, I'll put it to you like this. Like let Bitcoin finally take off. Let it be like into like a fucking unreachable point. What the fuck am I trying to say? Unreachable point. Let it get to that point where it's like one Bitcoin is worth $1 million. And then all you could buy is the 0.000000001 of a Bitcoin. That's fine, bro. Buy it, bro. Start investing in your future. I get it. That kid with that jersey is gonna feel so good. He's gonna feel so good about his investment. He's gonna feel so good that he got into it at the age of what? Fucking like, what is this kid like? If I had to take a fucking guess, he's like 19 or 21 or like 23 tops. Let's put him at 23.
Okay.
It's great. It's great.
Let's go backstage real quick. We'll regroup.
Finally, we found a semi-quiet place to talk.
You know, everybody here seems to be a Bitcoin maximalist, but you're the Bitcoin maximalist. So what does that mean?
Michael Saylor calls me the high priest of Bitcoin, the high priest of maximalism. The path narrows, as I like to say. So the deeper you go into the rabbit hole, the more maximalist you become. If you study Bitcoin, you realize that it's the last trade. Everything is ultimately going to go into Bitcoin.
It's not a technology. It's not software. It's not all
okay,
that
okay.
shit.
That's what the chat is
What
like.
it is perfect money. The only
Perfect
other
money.
two
What is that?
monies
Perfect.
that were even remotely similar in history is gold and U.S. Treasuries.
The fiat money system's collapsing. I think that's pretty clear. Gold.
I don't think the fiat system is collapsing. I think you saying that's pretty clear. I mean, it's not clear at all. I mean, I don't know where you like. How are you making this claim?
Gold is not as good as Bitcoin for many, many reasons. It does exactly what it's supposed to do, and it solves a fundamental question for humans. What is perfect money? And with that, we're restarting, really, humanity.
I mean, like the question is, what is perfect, really? Like, what are you talking about? What is perfect money? I think before you even try to figure out what is perfect money, you need a definition for perfect, right? Like, I think you're kind of like skipping a step.
And that's a great time to be alive.
But there, you know, you watch this year in the Super Bowl, there were how many different, I don't know, you don't like this word, the C word.
Can't say on Vice?
My mother taught me better to say that
don't
word.
Censor yourself.
All right.
This
well,
is
okay.
America.
We're not
We have free speech.
Amen. And that's why we're on kick. You want to know what I think he said? I think he said cunt. That's what I think he said. Yeah. And I just said it. Isn't it great? Isn't it great?
About the other
it's great.
Oh, that word. Oh, I would.
Oh, he meant crypto, though.
That's an awful word. Never say that. Take that crypto word out of your mouth.
I didn't say it. I didn't say it. She actually said it. So
don't force me to come up on stage and slap you.
Is there too much buzz around the C word space in general?
Well, nothing in the C word space has succeeded, right? I mean, been looking at this now for almost 12 years, and we've seen hundreds and thousands come and go, and none succeed, and none will succeed.
When I listen.
This kid's look like this guy, this guy. You know, this kid's good at looking like he's interested in what the fuck you're saying. I think like if you're a journalist, like you really have to be interested in everything that's going on in that moment. Like I can tell you right now, bro, my fucking ADD is way too wild. If I'm having a conversation with somebody, I'm reading their body language, I'm looking at what they're wearing, like I'm doing a whole bunch of different math in my head. This kid is just looking at them, and he's like, yeah, and he's just throwing questions out there. I feel like he either has some of these questions ready, or he's, you know, he could be coming up with some of them on the spot. I feel like most of these are already like he already had these thought out. He wanted to ask these questions just to get that shit out the way. But like look at the way he's talking to him, bro. Like I think that's another thing too. Like I studied communication, so for me, like they're going to say as much as they feel comfortable saying. Well, what determines how comfortable they are speaking? Well, the way he acts, the way he communicates to them is going to determine how much they communicate to the camera. This kid does it every time, bro. He kills it.
Stuff about the tax benefits. To me, I go, oh, it could be just another way for the rich people to hide their money. I mean, do you?
It's a little meta.
Look at it like that at all? Do you see that critique?
I would say it's
he's
not
so
about
soft with
rich people hiding their wealth.
Something to look
about
at.
Poor
you know?
people hiding their wealth, because rich people can always hide their wealth
with or
without Bitcoin. That's been true since the beginning of time.
That's
but
true.
Poor people have never had a chance to hide their wealth.
There's so many people that say that.
What do you mean poor people have never had a chance to hide their wealth? I mean, isn't it obvious by like how they dress and what they drive and how they live their lives? I mean, like, I don't know. Like, I'll tell you right now, if I go to a pub grill around the corner and I'm sitting at the bar, I can tell you right now, nobody sitting around me is a millionaire. And you know, I mean, maybe like there's this one guy one time who had like the presence in the air. But the truth of the matter is, like, if you're a millionaire, like the chances of you eating a fucking burger from a fucking pub in a fucking shopping plaza, like, let's be real, like those odds are fairly low. So, I mean, like, what are you talking about? Poor people hiding their wealth? Poor people can't hide their wealth. They don't have the opportunity to do that. Like you can tell their wealth based on how they look and how they dress and what they're doing. And like, even as far as like what they fucking eat, someone brings a box lunch, someone brings lunch to work, trust me, they're not millionaires.
It's all one big scam.
Bitcoin is not the bubble. Bitcoin is the pin, and it's pricking the bubble, which is fiat money. That's what Bitcoin does. It reveals the scam.
But like
it reveals the U.S. dollar is a scam.
But how is the U.S. dollar a scam? How is the gold market a scam? I mean, okay, fine. Like, okay. We have a treasury that's responsible for printing money, but is also equally responsible for burning money. So, like, what does that mean? Like the whole concept. So, by the way, like, in case you didn't know this, like, there's just such a thing as like burning when it comes to blockchains and NFTs. When you burn something, you literally put it out of existence. You stop it from existing. You get rid of it. You sacrifice it for the sake of obtaining something else. Cool. Well, the U.S. Treasury is constantly not just printing money, but they're also burning money, because if they don't, you're talking about the most financial savvy motherfuckers in the world. Like okay, we live in a capitalistic nation, and this capitalistic nation breeds people who care nothing more than just value and money. And with that being said, like, they want their money to be worth as much as possible. So like, they're not gonna print print so much money that it's inflated to the point that their money has no value. You're talking about people who were CEOs of Goldman Sachs, the fucking biggest banks in the world. You're not talking about just fucking willy-nilly motherfuckers who like, oh yeah, I got a couple bucks. No, you're talking about like rich motherfuckers who ran the biggest money fucking industries. These are the guys, like, they're not gonna do something. Like, just, like, you don't have to even have faith in it. You don't even have to accept it. You just have to understand that people will always work in their own self-interest, and these motherfuckers love money. So why would they make the money that they love so much invaluable? Why would they make it worth nothing? That makes no sense. It doesn't. Now, that doesn't split this from the fact that crypto is a competitor to typical currencies. Why? Because crypto is not bound. Crypto is limited, period. There's only a certain amount of Bitcoin that will only ever exist. There won't ever be more. You can't print more, right? There's only a certain number of these crypto assets that exist. That's what makes them so precious. That's what makes them precious commodities. The fact that there's like, it's not limited. It's not unlimited, rather. You can't just keep making more. Well, with the US, you can print more money, you could burn money, you could choose how much is in circulation, and therefore affect the value of the money you have in your own bank. This is revolutionary, and yes, it is a competitor to typical currencies, but one thing it is not is something super different, something we've never seen before. Yeah, it might be a global thing that isn't regulated by governments, but if you're gonna start calling money a scam, like, you're so out of your depth. Like, you just don't understand how the world works. You don't understand how people function and why they do the things they do.
It reveals the gold market as a scam.
The end of the fiat dark ages is here. The beginning of Renaissance 2.0 and good times is here. Like, it's still early.
All right. Here. You're never going to get rid of the US dollar. You're never going to get rid of the ability to make more money and destroy the money. And I'm going to tell you why. Because if there is only X amount of US dollars available, right? If there is only this amount of US dollars available, if there's only 20 trillion US coins, if that's all we ever had, you would see so many people die. Simply because of the fact that it's like, oh shit, there's only this many? Well, we need to stock up on our sources now. And guess who's going to buy it all first? Obviously, the people with the resources, right? Well, what about the people without the resources? What about the people not just only without the resources, but without the education or knowledge on how to obtain these things? Maybe you can have a steady income, you can have a good job, you can have a good life, you can have all that shit, but you don't even know how to convert to crypto. So by the time all the crypto's been bought out, because there's only X amount, well, guess what? There's none left for you. So that paper money you're walking around with is bullshit now. It's not going to happen.
If you could trade some fiat, if you could buy Bitcoin with dollars, it's early.
Okay. What's the fiat? Am I not going to be able to buy it with fiat?
Who's going to want to take your fucking dollars?
This is garbage.
This is the most Bitcoin thing you could do at a Bitcoin conference.
It's terrible. This is the instrument of financial terrorism. We're eradicating the plague of the US dollar and all fiat money. Will you join us, my son? Will you forsake fiat money?
I've got to have the laser eyes
Bitcoin into your life as the ultimate savior?
I praise the algorithm.
Done! Saved again. Another soul has been saved.
Max and Stacy hadn't quite converted me,
This guy's
but I
wild.
did start to understand the cultural beliefs behind Bitcoin. In addition to listening to hours and hours of people talking about money, I realized I was missing out on another important aspect of crypto culture, the parties. So I made some calls to some locals to see where we could get a camera crew in.
You see, that's the problem though. Like the parties, the thing about like these crypto fucking convention parties, and for example, like Bored Ape Yacht Club, like those parties, like maybe 2-3 times a year. The problem with these things is like you're celebrating before you even cross the finish line.
The party.
It sounds unlikely.
For which one? For both of them?
It sounds unlikely for party.
Okay, we'll be on standby.
I already group chatted in with one of the guys at.
Okay.
You guys are good to go to this.
And we're good to bring one camera in with us, or?
Yeah, you can do whatever you want.
All right, sick. Okay, cool.
That's what crypto events are like. Just like, yeah, fuck you got a camera? Oh, we want that. Bring it in.
Was able to get us in touch with someone, still not sure who.
Yo, I promise you, I went to a crypto party. It was probably, I mean, in my personal opinion, I think it was, I'm pretty sure it was a rug pull. The only good thing about this is I got into it for free. But I went to a crypto party and like you see how these dudes are kind of pulling around, like there's a line and all that shit. I literally went to fucking Star Island. So there's a place in Miami called Star Island, and it's literally like it's just some of the nicest homes you're ever. They're mansions, pretty much. It's where the really fancy people live, right? Like I think Dwayne Wade has a fucking mansion there. Pretty sure Rick Ross, fucking LeBron James, you know, some people you probably never even heard of before as well. They have mansions there type shit. It's not as fancy as Fisher Island, by the way, but Fisher Island is a whole nother story with a whole different level of fucking multi-millionaire, billionaire dudes, right? And chicks. But I went to Fisher Island for a party, and while I was at Fisher Island, like it was literally like a little roundabout, like it was the party was happening at this house, this rich dude, right? They rented the house from this guy, and literally the corner was like just like this. People were pulling up, excuse me, and I mean the party was weird, dude. It was just like it was so many dudes, and like they literally like they just, bro, they paid a bunch of chicks to show up. And I think that was the most cringiest thing that I had ever experienced is, and I never knew that was a thing. Like, I feel like once I saw it, I was like, oh no, duh. Like, of course that happens. But if I would have never seen it for myself, I would have never known. These motherfuckers, so like these crypto parties, they'll pay for bitches to show up. Like they'll pay like, I don't know, 50 to 100, maybe 150 women to show up. And it's just for the purpose of making the place seem more packed. And if the guys show up, and it's really just the guys who are into the crypto. I mean, I don't mean to be sexist here, but like the amount of females in the space is not that big, not compared to dudes. And the dudes who are going into this are obviously going to show up to the party, try to converse, try to have a good time. And the better time they have at the party, the more they're going to believe that the thing they're investing in is successful.
To get us into a party.
That looks just like the neighborhood, bro.
With the scene from your NFTs, kind of.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So like, everybody, you know, reaches out and they're like, Tommy, like, you know, you got to come, you got to check out what we're doing, our projects.
Do you know the owner? Who is?
You know what? I might just get back. Yo, like there's, bro. I spent a lot of time into NFTs and into the technology and researching this shit. I really do think I'm probably gonna dive back into the space just to see what people are doing, just to talk to people, just to give y'all some content. You get what I'm saying?
Apparently I do, but I honestly don't even remember his name.
Okay.
So,
That's exactly how it goes.
Go to the right side.
Okay. There's
Yep.
a lot of people here.
That's exactly. Yep.
Yeah, this is kind of what I wanted to show you guys.
That's a house.
Yeah. This is definitely something. So everybody's in the front yard here, but they're not necessarily getting in. What's going?
I would imagine that's the case.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
That's another thing.
Gonna drink, or?
Oh, I'm gonna drink. Yeah, we got a drink.
Is people just chilling outside, acting like it's all cool.
I guess we gotta get off the grass. Okay, we're still online, so we're waiting for the owner to come get us. So. It's kind of crowded, so it's kind of difficult. No, I know. No, nobody's tripping. Yeah, I mean, I think we'll do great. Yeah, I mean, everyone.
Yeah, that's how crypto bros talk. Yeah.
Let's get through this.
Like, yeah, man, totally chilling, bro.
No one's getting in. What's up? Same squad.
Show me your media passes.
Thank you. I like that. This is not a safe area. Sorry.
Yeah, they probably didn't even have media passes. It was just they probably like pulled up a picture on their phone or some shit, and the guy was like, yeah, cool, all right, come this way. Like, that's all he was looking for. He wasn't even looking for an actual media pass. He was just looking for something, like, so everybody else around knows that, like, they have a special reason to get in.
Holy shit! Oh my god! I feel rebirth.
Yo, wait, what camera was that?
I feel rebirth.
Oh, okay. It's like a black magic.
Oh my god, there's so many people here. Where are the drinks at? What do you guys want? You guys want a drink?
Getting a free drink.
And that's another thing. You go to these places, bro. You go to these parties, bro, and everything's free, bro. Like, they got, bro, the one oh man, dog. They had like the chef. I don't remember his fucking name. Fiore? No, not Fiore. That's like, yeah, Fiore. I think it's Chef Fiore. This motherfucker was chefing it up, and he does his awesome shit with like soup kitchens, where like he personally, that's what he's like, you know, that's like his non-for-profit type shit. And bro, this motherfucker was saucing it up, dog, making fucking hot dogs, burgers, fucking fillets. Oh my god, the food was so fucking good. The food was so fucking good. And then you walk up to the bar and you're like, "Can I get one of these?" And you're like, "Yeah, sure, here you go." And you're like, "How much is that?" You're like, "No, here you go." And you're like, "Oh shit." Best parties. Crypto parties are the best parties. Like honestly, if you get to a crypto party, like it's a great party. It's a good party. It's like a frat party. It's like a okay. I've never been to a frat party, but I've been to college parties. Just imagine like a college party for adults, and that's essentially what a crypto party is.
We just got into a sick party, and then we got kicked out of a sick.
No cameras are allowed. Guys in the white shirts say that no cameras are allowed in there.
Can we finish these beers? All right, so we just got into a sick party, and then we got kicked out of a sick party. All right. Welcome to Bitcoin Week. As my time came to a close in Miami, things never looked so bright for Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. But just like my abrupt exit from the party,
that bull sits there.
Cryptocurrencies also experienced a rude awakening.
That's like our bull. You know what I'm saying? Like, look. All I gotta say is that, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the New York Wall Street has their bull because that's the center of the stock exchange. You know what I'm saying? That's where it all happens. I understand that 100%. But for some reason, dude, all these guys who made millions and all these girls who made millions and billions off of crypto, bro, I don't know what it is, dog, but they came to Miami, dog. They came to Miami, dog. They in Miami, dog. So we got our own bull. We said, fuck it, dog. We're the center of fucking crypto. Everybody loves crypto. We're here, dog. Like, what's good? We're at the beach. We got beautiful scenery. We got beautiful people. Come on. Bring it over here. Come on, Mayor Miami cut the ribbon on that shit.
It's almost 70% off its historic high it hit in November. As some experts warn that a crypto winter is coming.
Several crypto firms reportedly cautioning that thousands of digital currencies and blockchains
dude, that was back when like Bitcoin was $29,000. That was so long ago.
are likely to collapse in the coming years.
The price of digital currencies fell, and we descended into a crypto winter.
Attaboy.
To warm myself up and see what the fallout was, I returned, hobbling to Miami, after I broke my foot getting up to pee in the middle of the night.
Are you serious? That's crazy. I can't imagine. But that's South Beach, man. I should be in. Nah, I was about to say I should be in South Beach right now, but like if I showed you outside, it's literally fucking pouring. Oh, whoops, wrong side. That way. Like I'm just gonna show you. Just give y'all a quick little look. Yeah, can y'all even see outside? Yeah, you see the water dripping. It's so fucking ugly out. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I love gray days. Probably some of my favorite days of the year. Just because, like, it's just so chill. I don't like getting wet, though. That's honest. And when I go for my smoke break, it makes it tough. Because I don't want to come back in here all wet. Anyways, that's South Beach. I would love to be there right now.
Like almost
damn, I gotta hit South Beach up. Actually, I'm going to the beach this weekend.
Embarrassing as my decision to buy some Bitcoin right after the conference.
Oh,
I had yet to see how someone
he bought some
currencies in a practical manner. So I
smart guy.
Meet up with one of Tommy's friends, Sal, who wanted to show us how he used digital money in the real world. What are we doing here?
We're just about to hop on some skis right now.
Okay.
Just some typical Miami day.
Typical Miami day, dog.
You paid for this experience.
You know what I'm saying?
Crypto. Yeah, of course. I mean, just like any other experience here in Miami, you can pay in crypto. It's a very crypto-friendly city.
Amen, dog. Right behind him, that's Star Island, dog. So like, they're probably, so there's a long strip of like fucking like road. It's kind of like a highway that runs from like the main city. You go over a bridge across this flat piece of like highway type shit, and then that gets you over to Miami Beach. This right here, it looks like it's like right off of that road. So like they pulled off to the side of the road, and then boom, and they shot fucking Star Island right behind them. Bro, look at the size of these houses. Like they're huge, bro. And when you drive by, oh man, I'll put it to you like this: like if you didn't know you were broke, just come to Miami, dog. Come to Miami and head towards South Beach. Come to Miami and go to South Beach, and then you'll understand, oh shit, I'm not living the life that some of these motherfuckers are living.
We've heard.
Yes,
We've
sir.
heard. Well, I would go with you, but I'm a little worried about my foot. So
I thought you were going with me.
I was supposed to go with you, and then I fucked up my foot.
Don't be a pussy. He doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't give a shit. He's looking at it like, come on, dog, you got this.
I don't know, man.
Like broken foot, you'll be all right.
I don't know, man.
Sometimes you just can't say no.
Ah, come on. Fuck yeah. It's crazy. He didn't even have glasses on before, right? But he looks like a different person.
Sal was very interested in showing us how he could use cryptocurrencies for so-called practical purchases. So we ended up at Timepiece Trading, a place I'd visited before while shooting my documentary about the rich.
What is it? A secret? What? Clubs of the
This
Rich?
watch with a rainbow bezel from the factory, $750,000. Really?
I want to watch that. It's at the Secret Clubs of the Rich. Oh, we might have to watch this. But he's back there,
Good,
that
man.
place.
It's
Look,
presentation.
bro, look at his chain, dog. Look how thick that fucker is. And it's all fucking
Jabu,
diamond
going
out.
back to-
I mean, honestly, a chain like that would probably run you like, I don't know, bro. If I had to take a good guess, it'd be like somewhere between like $10,000 to $15,000.
Timepiece Trading.
Yeah, of course, it's a spot.
10 to 15, dog.
Hey, man, good to see you again. I think I met you last.
All right. This is what I was talking about the other day, the Cuban link shit. You see the back of his necklace? You see that big fat block there? All right, when you connect that motherfucker, there's clips on it. You clip that motherfucker in. Anyone who tries to pull that bitch off your neck, they ain't gonna get it.
I met you last time. Yes.
You literally drag a motherfucker by the neck.
Good, man. Very young.
Did you see that? They had to get into a door. That door had to close, and then they had to get into the next door.
Pet gems. Very young pet gems.
I gotta be secure.
Wait, he's
That's
tucking
right,
it in?
that's right.
And he tucks it in. Ah, bro, that's some real Hispanic shit, bro. That's some real fucking, like, you know, you must be from Miami, dog. Huh? Your mama told you to tuck your chain in, huh? Sometimes when I feel crazy, I let it hang out, but this ain't even worth that much. I'll tell you that much. If I had one of those, I might just tuck that shit in too, especially working downtown. Now, that being said, look at that Clase Azul. All right, listen. Clase Azul, probably the best tequila ever. All right, I've had that, and I've also had the Don Julio 1942. Out of all these bottles on this table, those two are like the most like fanciest ones. And I'll tell you right now, Don Julio 1942, fuck that shit. It tastes like a headache. All right, that fucking Clase Azul, yeah, it might run you $200 for that bottle, bro. But I'll tell you right now, you're gonna understand the difference. Like, you remember how I said, like, you come to Miami and you can recognize how poor you really are. You drink that tequila and you're telling yourself, oh shit, it's worse than I thought.
This gets you on the right camera mood. Okay.
Cheers.
Why the fuck do they have a dinosaur?
I don't, man. I was in here before I got the whole spiel last time. I don't know anything about watches. You know, I upgraded since the last time I saw you got an Apple Watch, but like, I don't know what I'm looking at when I look at this.
At least you have something on now.
I would say I have a timepiece.
At least you have something. Yeah,
Just
right.
like what face do you like and like the popularity of it, of course.
And how much does this cost?
This right now is $195.
Okay. And you guys are accepting cryptocurrencies now,
Yeah,
right?
we are. We have to move with the world, right?
Is everybody you know in the luxury goods space taking crypto at this point?
I think so. Now most people have adapted. And honestly, crypto has done huge for us. Like, it's done like very good. So I think our business has maybe tripled because of crypto.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Your business has tripled because of crypto. Because why?
Because people are making more money off crypto. They want to spend crypto.
And they feel more comfortable spending crypto.
Exactly. And also it's a good way for people
Yeah,
to
makes
unload
sense.
crypto into actual assets. You know, so we take USD.
That right there was really the truth. It's the fact that like people recognize like, yo, I can go ahead and take this money that I got anonymously for whatever reasons I got it anonymously, and now I could turn it into a gold watch with diamonds on it. And if anything happens, that gold watch with diamonds on it is still gonna be worth a gold watch with diamonds on it. You get what I'm saying? But this crypto and the way I got it, that shit ain't so fucking neat and cut.
DC, USDT, Bitcoin, Ethereum, just the four like top coins.
There you go, bro. There you go. He said it right there. No, 100%. US dollar coin, US dollar tether, Bitcoin, Ethereum. That's all you need. That's the four main ones. 100%. What I told you, the biggest competitor to fucking Bitcoin is Ethereum.
4 main ones.
Yeah. For 185?
And I'm telling you, you won't find that price anywhere else.
All right, you said 180 or 185?
185.
But didn't he just say 180?
I know, roll back the tape. I don't know.
Roll back the tape. He just said 180s.
We'll meet in the middle. 183.5 is like.
All right, that's
I'm already stretching.
Okay,
I'm already
okay,
stretching.
okay,
Like for real.
Okay.
182.5 is actually in the middle, but.
Ooh.
Touche.
Hey, look at this guy. Look, you see, he adds himself when he belongs.
Everybody's gonna watch that video.
Okay, fine. 182.5 done.
All right.
Yeah, you know he didn't give a fuck if it was 180. You know he didn't give a fuck about 180. Like, let's be honest, bro. When you're dealing with 180 versus 185, the difference between $5,000 don't really make a big difference.
Deal.
Sal ended up paying for his watch.
Yo. All right, look, listen. I love swaggy shit. I absolutely love swaggy shit. That right there is swaggy as fuck. A little bonsai tree, first of all, is the shit. It, instead of a thing that's fucking floating and spitting.
With a stable coin, a digital money pegged to a fiat currency. My requests to photograph the transaction on the computer screen were denied. Supposedly it was just a bunch of information and numbers on a page.
It hit.
It hit?
Yeah, I got it.
All right, cool.
So we got 192,600 because of the sales tax.
Thank you, my brother.
Of course, bro.
Well, congratulations. Is this what you wanted? Are you happy? Yes. They say money can't buy happiness.
Whoever said that didn't have enough money.
Watches are a well-known status symbol. For crypto enthusiasts, however, there's a new digital status symbol that is taking hold. NFTs.
We're getting into it, boys. We're getting into it.
Tokens, known as NFTs, have a lot of potential in the real world. They're essentially a stamp of ownership stored on the blockchain. Think of it like a digital certificate of authenticity.
For anyone confused on this fucking topic, an NFT is just a fucking digital receipt. Whether or not there's a fucking file attached to it is a whole different story.
NFT art projects such as the Blue Chip Bored Ape Yacht Club and CryptoPunks have brought NFTs into the wider vernacular, while running up the valuation of the NFT marketplace, OpenSea, to over $13 billion. The NFT scene quickly exploded.
And it's not just that, the amount of people who were trading NFTs, dog, and the fact that like OpenSea was kind of doing like a fucking like what, like a 2%, 2.5%, something like that. I don't remember exactly what it was, or it could even have been like 5% on the transactions. Bro, that's crazy. Imagine every time one of these fucking Bored Apes got sold for let's just say even $100,000. It's way more than that, right? But $100,000 at 2.5%, bro. That's $2,500. $2,500. If it's $2,000, then that's $5,000. I mean, $200,000, then it's $5,000. So on and so forth. That's crazy. Every time one of these fucking things sold, someone got their fucking check paid.
Exploded and then imploded, but not before Sal was able to make a quick buck by getting hooked up with early access to NFT projects, known as a whitelist, because he was part of exclusive chat groups.
Being a part of all these groups gave you first access kind of to NFTs.
I could tell you, like, I'm still fucking deleting Discord fucking channels that I joined, or Discord fucking servers that I joined, that were just like so many different fucking projects. I still have a couple NFTs myself. Like, I'll tell you right now, like the only one I'm actually like banking on, like at this point, this late in the game, seeing how, I mean, okay, it's not late in the game, right? NFTs are still a thing that are, you know, going to be talked about and still going to be done and used. But after that initial wave, from what I've seen and all the different ones I've invested in, I could probably say that there's two that are probably pretty good, but there's really one that I have faith in. The second one, you know, not the one that I have complete faith in, but the one I think is pretty cool. It just gives you like access to like it's just a French clothing designer, and they make pretty cool clothes, and it's just like streetwear. It's just French streetwear, and if you hold these tickets, if you hold one of the NFTs, then you have access to like discounts on this shit, and sometimes they even like give you shit for free. You just have to pay for the shipping and handling. And I think that's great. I think that's a great idea. And like, that's why I still fucking have it, right? In fact, I had originally bought one. There's something called Crypto Ninja Partners. It was like a Japanese trading thing. And I didn't know anything about it. I just knew there's like these little cute characters. And they had something to do with Japanese people. And I'm like, all right, this must be good. I fucking bought into it. And then I came to realize later that like, I don't know what the fuck I clicked on, but somehow I got that shit stolen from my wallet. This is one of those things where you got to be careful with the fucking links. This is probably like the most important time in history, probably the only time in history where you've ever had to worry about what link you click. I got that shit stolen from me, and literally like what I bought for like 30-40 bucks ended up being worth like $1,000. And it sucks, but you know what I'm saying is you got to be careful. You live and you learn. But that being said, like that fucking like that clothing one is called Third Eye Club. I haven't necessarily bought any of their products yet. I'm just holding on to it for now, like waiting for the time where like the stars align and I decide to get something. But you got that one. And then the one that like I'm really like I have a lot of faith in. I mean, okay, there's another one that like a beat producer made, right? Like a well-known beat producer. He made a bunch of different beats, or I guess he must have like, you know, generated them using AI or fuck, there's a word for it. It's not coming to my mind. But he just essentially mass produced these, the way they produced the JPEGs, right? And he produced this thing with beats. It's like owls and shit. That's cool too. And this is tied to an individual who has a reputation, who like says like, yo, you submit your song with the beat that you got from this. I'm gonna listen to it, and if I fuck with it, we're gonna make a song together. That's fucking dope, right? And that's not even the main one. The main one is Woody's. Like Woody's is literally like imagine if like tree huggers got together and wanted to start their own version of Disney. And that's like what these guys are doing. Like they're doing animations, they're doing comics, they're doing fucking swag, merchandising, all that bullshit, right? And they're doing it with the, you know, with, oh, not just that, they plan outings. Like you see these crypto parties, their crypto parties aren't like that. Their crypto parties are like, let's go camping in the woods and let's spend a weekend together. It's gonna be here on this day. If you got the thing, you're gonna get the message and you'll be able to join us. That shit's cool, bro. Like that shit's cool. Like they're making stories about tree people, and like it's just talking about like, you know, conserving nature. Like there's so many good things about it that like look, I got me bumps. Like it feels like a good thing to invest in, and I haven't seen anything bad come out of that area. I haven't seen points in time where the people who are in charge of the project aren't, you can't even get in touch with them. Like that's not happening the same way. Like that stuff does happen with rug pulls. It's not happening with these certain types of people because they're running things a different way, and they're like I said, they're leveraging this technology in a way that is actually useful, in the way that it was intended. Like not these scams and schemes that you keep seeing.
I was able to capitalize on a lot of opportunities because I was able to get whitelisted. If the people in the groups are talking about it, that means it's something.
Let's say I'm Joe Schmo, retail NFT collector. I'm not in any of these groups. I just hear so
That's cap. If you're a retail NFT connector, you're in a bunch of these groups.
much about NFTs, and I go on, you know, like a marketplace like OpenSea, and I'm just like, oh, I can afford this one. I'm gonna buy this one. Good or bad idea?
But you don't know anything?
I don't know anything.
That's a terrible idea.
Yeah, 100%.
But I just feel like there's so much hype
That's
around
like-
NFTs.
that's like- Okay, but that's like hype around shoes. And
Sure.
you just go buy any shoe. If you have the right marketing behind it, you can sell out. You basically pay influencers or you pay celebrities to make a post. And a lot of people, because they're naive and they saw a lot of people make money on NFTs, and people by nature are greedy, right? They believe their favorite artist when he comes out and says, oh, I own it.
Snoop Dogg.
Buy it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what kind of happened in the space. And that's
Talking
how a
about
lot
Snoop
of
Dogg with the Snoop Dogg NFTs. Like those fucking those had that motherfucker sold out. The motherfucker sold out. It's like, what was it? It was like 3,000 different versions of Snoop Dogg, and it's on fucking Sandbox, right? It's just like a 3D character model, like a fucking Minecraft model type shit of these dudes who you know, it's just Snoop Dogg, like different hairstyles, different like attire.
Scams happen in this space too.
With all the hype around these projects, it's no wonder that scams abound in what's known in the NFT community as a rug pull, where projects that propose long-term roadmaps suddenly close up shop and the owners take off with the money.
Have you ever been bamboozled yourself?
Oh yeah, 100%.
So this is your little squiggle here.
Squiggle.
Okay. It's so stupid.
It is.
It's so stupid.
And I bought it for like an Ethereum, I think.
So you bought it for an Ethereum.
Sal bought into an NFT project known as
Oof.
Squiggles. Hours before the project was set to mint, a document was released online that loosely connected a number of individuals tied to suspected rug pulls with the founder of Squiggles, a 22-year-old named Arsalan.
I have no bad intentions. I would never hurt anyone physically, financially, or mentally. It's not in me.
The NFT scene went into lockdown and accused the
Yeah.
not yet released Squiggles project of being a rug pull, which resulted in it being delisted from the main NFT marketplace, OpenSea. Internet sleuth CoffeeZilla called Arsalan a scammer on Twitter and released an 11-minute video detailing the drama.
Behind the face of this kid in braces sits a group of NFT scammers in the
Yo, we're
shadows.
watching this next.
And what's worse is that they've done this before.
Hold on. We're gonna find this video right now. We're gonna find this video right now, dog. CoffeeZilla. We're gonna look for where you can search this page. We're gonna look for NFT. Right clicking NFT. What happened? Was a disaster. That's 1 year ago. Keanu Reeves. Oh, right here. Busting a 20 million NFT scam. Squiggles. All right. We're gonna pause this for now, and we're gonna come back to it later.
Except this time, the stakes are higher than ever.
Oh, shit.
They stand to make $20 million on this scam.
The creator
It's a lot of
the
money for a
project,
scam.
Arsalan,
I remember Squiggles when it came
signed
out.
Until now.
This document had little to do with me, like probably 2% speaking about me, and the rest had to do with these like 4 other guys that.
All right. Look at his chain, right? You guys see his chain, right? That isn't a regular chain. It's not a regular chain. It's not a Cuban link. You see how that chain? You see right here. You got 2 solid rocks, a big rock, a big ass rock, 1 solid rock, a big ass rock. All right. You see this over here? You got 1 big ass rock surrounded by a bunch of little rocks. That fucking chain, like the fact that this. All right. Squiggles ain't going nowhere. And look at this dickhead. And then you saw the shot, right, of them two both, right? You saw the beautiful fucking background. Yeah, you know what that is? That's the apartment complex he fucking lives in.
That had no affiliation with the project, but these are people that I was.
Look at that, bro. That's fucking paradise, dog. That's fucking paradise. I'm sorry. I don't care where the fuck you're from. I don't care how the fuck you live. You see that and you're like, that's comfortable. That's nice. I wouldn't mind staying there. Like, even if you're uber rich, you're looking at that like, bro, if I took a vacay in Miami, that wouldn't be a bad place to stay. Guess what? These are fucking apartments.
Hanging out with when I was living in Los Angeles. Those are cool kids that I was hanging out with. I liked them. I didn't know about their past like that. I never really asked them. I guess some people were, gathering evidence on them. It was like a coordinated attack. They dropped it 3 hours before our launch, and dude, Twitter was like a storm. Just everyone talking about it and how, don't admit Squiggles, it's a scam. We still did it, obviously, and made like 7.3 million in under 10 minutes.
Did you talk to those guys afterwards?
Yeah, I still talk to them.
You still talk to them?
I have no problems with them. I think they're good kids. There's all allegations towards them. I don't know if they're true or not, but if it were to ever come out that those allegations are true, then I wouldn't work with them.
Did anybody lose money on it? I mean, if you minted it.
If they sold it at that moment, they would have made profit. If not and they held it, then they lost money, but it's the name of the game, it's what happens. Since all that happened, February 10th, to this day, I still get death threats and people say, hey, you owe me this and that.
Yeah, right. You still get death threats and hey, you owe me money. But like, look at where you're living. This is literally like this shot right here is from the same complex. You can tell by like that fucking the arcing, like the fucking railing on that corner apartment. You can tell it's the same fucking place they're in right now. Look how fucking beautiful this view is. You think he gives a fuck about someone sending him a message? Hey, fuck you, I'm coming for my money.
So far, I'd seen a lot of things in crypto that turned me off. Overzealous believers, underwhelming digital art, and lots of scamming. All things that could come with fast money. I had one more stop to make that I hoped would clarify how the future of cryptocurrencies can actually be beneficial to the masses.
Thank you so much for coming out to the Bronx. This is the home of hip-hop,
home of graffiti,
the home of the Yankees, the home of Big Pun, and now the home of cryptocurrency.
I love it. You guys practice that?
Yeah, I just made it up this morning.
Okay, all right.
So the reason we started Bronx Crypto is because we know that there is a big financial shift that is happening. Yeah, we're here to educate the people because we don't want to be left behind. And we also want to make the space more inclusive, more people of color. And we believe if you start allocating slowly into cryptocurrency, you will be included in the new financial system.
So why do you think that cryptocurrencies allow you to be more inclusive?
There is no middleman. We can finally trade or barter without someone deciding on what the charge is or what the interest rate is going to be.
The big banks have long been the
Hey, he's got a good
gatekeepers of
point.
the money that can be invested
Makes a
in
good point.
anything from college tuition to small business loans. But in a familiar tale, these banks have also engaged in a sordid history of both prejudiced lending and predatory loan practices targeting people of color.
We're at the New York Stock Exchange.
Yeah, let me take a second and look back at this.
Yeah. When you guys look at
it.
this, what do you guys think?
The banks are just here to nickel and dime us. You put your money in the bank, you get no interest. How come they get to make money with our money, but we can't make money with our money? We're challenging the financial system. With cryptocurrency, you could be your own bank. You know, you could borrow, you could hedge against your own crypto, you can borrow against your own NFTs. You could be independent. And this is for everyone who has been taken advantage by the big guy.
That's awesome. That's awesome. How'd that feel? That feel good?
Yeah, it did. It was a middle finger from the whole world.
Watching Julio and Drew give the finger to Wall Street made me think about the punk rock fuck you days of the internet, long before it was corporatized in a Super Bowl commercial blitz.
100%.
Even when the facade of the early .com era crumbled, the spirit of the internet and its ability to transform our world has never ceased.
Amen.
The crypto sector made a lot of early adopters a lot of money very quickly. It's logical that carpetbaggers would come along and try to hype the masses into any number of get-rich-quick scams. While I don't see myself pouring all my savings into Bitcoin at the moment, I do realize that despite all the early hype, the internet eventually fulfilled a lot of the functions we were promised in its infancy. Only time will tell if the crypto sector will do the same.
It will.
Ethereum? Never heard of her. Blockchain. Lazy rides.
Oh, okay. What's up with that beat?
Man, that was great. Fuck. To kind of sum up this video, I think one of the things we can say is that, like, I mean, at least for me, from my perspective, is that like crypto is here to stay. Like, crypto isn't going anywhere. It's like I said before, it's a new technology. If you can look past the fact that people are misusing it and like, you know, abusing it the same way that they misused and abused past technologies when they were first introduced, I think you could then skip past that and see the fact that, like, yo, this is the next thing. Like, this is a big thing. And like, even if you're not into cryptocurrency itself, even if you're not into a currency that isn't managed by a government, even if that's the case, because I could see it becoming a point where so many people have crypto that all the US does is fucking tax you on your on whatever crypto you convert into their currency. But what happens when business start taking cryptos? Then, well, how are they going to tax them on that? Well, they're going to have to tax the businesses. What does that mean? That the businesses are going to start raising their prices on the goods and services they offer? Yeah, I mean, like, you know, you have certain places that'll charge you a fucking fee if you use a credit card because they don't want to pay the processing fee. They want you to pay it because all they want is the money that you paid for the meal. You know, shit like that. So, you know, like, where's the future of this going? Exactly, I couldn't tell you. But what I can tell you is that blockchain technology, NFTs, cryptocurrencies, they're here to stay. And if you're just looking at these things like it's just one of these random little fucking get rich quick things, it's going to die out eventually, you're absolutely wrong. You're absolutely wrong. Because at the end of the day, it's technology. It's a new thing. And the way it works, if you can fucking take the time to just fucking research it, you'll 100% understand how this is something that is useful. Once you understand that it's useful, then you can understand and at least start to think of its applications. And once you've thought about its applications, especially as much as I have, trust me, you start to see something that is essential. All right? And this thing, like I told you, it's not going to go away. It's here to stay. Let's look at the comments real quick, see what they said. I love watching everyone explain crypto with generalized buzzwords. I mean, that is the most part. Don't get me wrong. Like, you have maybe out of everyone who's actually into cryptocurrency, you probably have maybe, 30% of the population who actually knows what the fuck is going on and what it's about, while 70% of the population just sees dollar signs. So yeah, 100%, everyone's using generalized buzzwords. That crypto evangelist at the beginning, like that dude's fucking ridiculous, bro. He doesn't even know what he's talking about. He's talking about the crypto's going to be the end of all fiat currency. Like, you're a fucking idiot. It's not going to be the end of all crypto. I love how Arsalan swears his NFT project is legit, then goes on to explain exactly how the rug pull worked. If you sold at the moment, you made money. If you hold on to it, you lost money. You just admitted your project was a scam and you had no actual value. Just genius. And that's exactly what he did, bro. And that's how every single one of these rug pulls works. At the end of the day, the biggest winner is the person pulling the rug. But you have a few of these smart motherfuckers who are able to get the whitelist because they're in the servers and doing all the shit they have to do. And once they get that fucking queue and they get the thing, they sell it on the day or maybe 2-3 days later. From what I've seen, tends to be about maybe a week later. But you sell it about a week after it's dropped, that price is through the roof. And then about 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks later, this shit's gone. Like, no one gives a fuck about it anymore. Like, you really got a window between 2 days and 7 to fucking buy something and make money off of it. Or I'd rather you have to buy it when it drops. Let me see. Let's see what else. I'm trying to find some more comments. To my understanding, this just proves how much we need an edge as investors, because playing the market like everyone else just isn't good enough. I've been quite unsure about investing in this current market, and at the same time, I feel it's the best time to get started on the market. What are your thoughts? All right, well, listen, I don't know if the guy responded from the video, but my thoughts on this, simple. It is the best time to get involved in this market. It's the best time to get involved in this market because you're in the year 2023. You don't want to get involved in this market in the year 2030. You don't want to get involved in this. You don't want to just start trying to get involved in this market. The idea is almost like the fucking stock market, right? Like, you imagine to yourself when companies were just starting to list themselves on the stock market, right? Like, how much could you have gotten in on one of these companies? Like, think about when Google first listed their stock. Think about when Amazon first listed their stock. It was super low prices. You would have bought in then. Today, you would have been rich. And it's the same concept there, where it's just like these things eventually took off because of the fact that we created an environment for these things to prosper in. All you need is a couple of good examples of blockchain technology helping out a system. Like, for example, you see all these the hospital video where, like, the hackers, like this one hacker dude, this white hat hacker, works for protecting a hospital. Well, that hospital probably isn't running on a blockchain, because if that hospital was running on a blockchain and that blockchain was decentralized, well, guess what? There is no ransomware that can lock up all the information and therefore limit you from being able to administer your patients the care they need. Like, that's not going to happen when you have a system that can't be hacked. And, well, how do you create a system that can't be hacked? Create so many fucking points of data, like, not even data, but so many points of security, so many points of fucking, like, just reviewing the information. You don't have to worry about one server being compromised. You know, like, your worry at that point would have to be hundreds of thousands of individual users getting compromised all at the same time. Like, it's not practical. Like, blockchains are virtually impossible to hack by nature. You would literally have to control all of the systems that are storing and maintaining and running that blockchain in order to go ahead and hack it or change any of the data within it. This is a technology that's going to fucking make the world amazing and make it a better place. Now, that being said, like, when should you start investing? You should have been investing. Like, I remember when fucking Ethereum was $300. I remember the person I was with at the time telling them, like, yo, $300 ain't that bad. You know, you probably should get a couple. That person did not invest until Ethereum was already at $2,000. I'm sorry, they even invested when it was at $4,000, and they kept holding on, they kept investing. But this is an individual who is savvy with their money and knows what they're doing. You get what I'm saying? And like you show them this kind of stuff, and like I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to say is that, like, not only am I understanding of the technology and how it's implemented, and not just am I understanding of the history of technology and the way it's been implemented over time. What I'm saying is that me, from firsthand experience, have seen someone else who isn't accustomed to this type of thing, who has no knowledge about it, but at least has financial knowledge about how markets work and how things work in general, and can still see this thing that they don't know anything about, really, at least not as much as I do. And they see it and they say, okay, you know what, this might actually not be a bad idea. The fact that that proposition, that situation even exists, shows that there's a lot of these people who are investing. Bro, think about how many companies have invested in crypto. Thousands and millions of dollars. Fucking Tesla accepting Dogecoin. Like that was one of the biggest like fuck yous to the world, but also at the same time, it makes perfect sense because at the end of the day, it's just like, yeah, you're a company that's moving forward. Why not move forward? And you know what? Why not move forward in a way that makes you look like a rebel? Because that's what Tesla's been the whole time, right? It's been the auto industry's rebel, right? Like, let's kill the gas engine. Let's go ahead and go full electric. So is it a best time to start in the market? Listen, if I think Ethereum might be at like 2,000 right now. This is not financial advice, but if I had extra money laying around, I'll tell you right now, I'd be buying into Ethereum. I'd be buying into Bitcoin. 100%. I don't think that that's a bad investment. I think that like in 10, like especially if you're a long-term investor. Now, if you're one of these dudes who wants to day trade and try to make money on a daily, trying to flip money, blah, 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 you probably won't do too hot. You're probably better off just playing the traditional stock market. But you're talking about cryptos, get in now. It's still early. And in the future, 10 years from now, trust me, it's going to be worth more. And once again, not financial advice. But I know, like, I got my own investments in crypto. I got my own investments in like projects and NFTs and all that shit. Like, I you know what I'm saying? If you're looking for someone to tell you it's a bad idea, the only time I'm going to tell you that is if you don't have money to feed yourself. Like, this is a speculative investment and it's not something you should be doing if you can't put food on your own fucking table. This is something you do with fucking extra income. Let's see what other comments we got. I've been waiting for this, and honestly, I was so surprised how long they were able to get away with this. I just hope there aren't a lot of suicidal young men who got ripped off. Wow, that's pretty deep there, dog. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think the idea of killing yourself because your money situation went to shit, I don't think that's something that young men worry about. I feel like at that point in time, like, yeah, you might be upset, you might be sad, but I don't know. I feel like if you're young, you probably have the mentality of like, fuck, man, I fucked up. Like, why the fuck did I do? I don't think it's gonna get to the point where you say I gotta kill myself. Now, if you're talking about an older person who's like, 40 something and invested their fucking retirement into this shit and then got ripped off, that's a different story. Because now that motherfucker's saying to themselves like, yo, I only have about 10 years to work this system. And then I was supposed to live off of that money. And now I don't have that money to live off of. So what's going to happen after I give these next 10 years to this system? I'm just going to have to work another job. Everything I had planned for is in ruin now. They might kill themselves. A young guy who fucking lost $1,000 or lost 2,000 bucks, whatever the fuck they did to sell the squiggles. Not that serious, bro. Not that serious. All right. Let's see. All right. I'm gonna take a quick little break. I'm gonna be back in about 30 minutes to an hour. I get some food. I'm starving. From there, we're just gonna do after hours. We're gonna do I'm probably gonna buy Diablo 4. I've just seen so much about it, and honestly, from what I've been able to like read on it, I like Diablo 3. I think that Diablo 4 isn't gonna be like a bad upgrade to it. But I am fucking starving. Not only am I starving, but I also ran out of drink. So I gotta get more drink. I gotta get some food. But yeah, Diablo 4, I think that's what we're gonna look forward to when we get back, boys. So it's like 1:15 right now. I'll be back by 2 o'clock. All right, so I'll see y'all in a second. The stream's gonna be titled Extra Hours. You'll probably see me in the Diablo 4 section. And if you're on YouTube, it's gonna be gaming, of course. Where the fuck is my stream at? I'll catch y'all in a few. Hey, listen, 100%. Let me just say it before I get off, and I'll probably say it every time. I appreciate everyone who came through to watch the stream. I appreciate y'all just even checking the shit out. You know what I'm saying? For real. If y'all ever have any questions, y'all ever have any comments, please feel free to reach out to me. Please feel free to hit me up. If there's any content that you want me to check out, that you want to share with me, I'll be more than happy to check it out on the stream. just let me know beforehand so I can go ahead and plan that out as part of the routine. All right. But like I said, I'll be back in an hour or 45 to an hour. All right. I'll catch you on a second. Those.